Welcome to Sports and Stogies. Now, introducing your hosts, Cameron Winkowitz and Austin Hayes.
Pull up a chair, pour up a drink, and light that cigar. We're back with episode 80 of Sports and Stogies. Cam.
You know, it just took us 4 weeks to prepare for this episode is all.
Sometimes you just got to have a little tease, you know?
Just a little tease.
We definitely weren't sick. There definitely was not a tornado.
Well, there actually wasn't a tornado.
Well, we were worried about it, though. Last thing we wanted to be mid-show and upstairs.
Yeah.
And
or me get trapped
Twister
here.
comes in.
The last place I want to be trapped is no air conditioning.
Well, at the time it wasn't bad. Plus, the downstairs is cool. I'd be more concerned about your wife at home by herself, and you're here.
She'll be fine.
You got no basement, though, right?
Nope.
Bathtub?
We got one of those.
Either way, definitely, it rained here for maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Then we had to plan to record over the weekend, which we're not meant for morning radio.
It was WrestleMania weekend, too.
Yeah, I did a solo show for an hour. Didn't love it, didn't post it. But we are back. We're not alone. Mr. Greg Berk, after probably a year and a half, 2 years now. Welcome back, brother. Good to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's glad to be back. It's been a while.
Let's knock out our promos here real quick. Get that out of the way.
Well, you know where to follow us on social media. Sports and Stogies on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X, Reddit, TikTok, which we don't really do anything on TikTok yet still.
It's 2 years in the making.
But the stuff we do have up is pretty good.
Greg, if you haven't noticed since you've been on, our social media presence has not improved whatsoever.
That's not true. That's not true. You have YouTube now.
That is true.
Fair point. And I have done 2 YouTube shorts about the Cigar of the Month Club.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen one
maybe
for
the
sure.
6 that we've gotten so far. But
We just need to get a camera. Just need some
that's
webcams.
really the main thing. Yeah.
Which means we need a new laptop because this one only has one USB port that is currently being used.
It's also Shane's.
And it
May or may not need
is also Shane's laptop. And then get the show on Spotify, Amazon Prime Music, YouTube's, Apple Podcasts, and I don't think Google Podcasts anymore. I'm pretty sure they finally shut that down.
With the month we've been off, they probably took care of it.
So, yeah, use something else.
And fan questions at sportsandstogies@gmail.com. Before we forget, let's drop an ad read real quick. Mr. Evan Keaton, a certified personal trainer. Of course, can bring the gym to you, equipment included, has fitness classes if you guys want a more group setting, in low, medium, and high intensity levels. Contact info, email at allthingsfitness15@gmail.com, cell phone 937-308-6324, and a website at allthingsfit.org. With that, Greg,
Tell us about Sports and Stogie's favorite shop.
That would have to be us at Tip Top Smoke in Springfield, Ohio.
the one and only.
The one and only. And we're about to soar to new heights with Can't Clip My Wings from Jonas Santana and a new cigar it's about to take the market with the Grackle.
We're, a week away here from the event at Tip Top with Jonas, with Blackbird.
We got, about almost 2 weeks now, or a little less. But, yeah, 27th of April from noon to 4, he'll be there. And we'll be doing a component testing with basically the new release short run that we'll be exclusive to at Tip Top Smoke. You can also, if you can't make it into the shop, you can online purchase tiptopsmoke.com. We service 48 states. Or no, 46, I apologize.
Yeah, we mention that every show because
And
you can't beat it.
On the website, you can buy tickets for the event, or are you sold out?
You can still buy tickets. We're about halfway sold out.
There you go. Get your tickets while you can, folks.
Any option to pay at the door? Or is this all tickets up front before the event happens?
You're definitely going to be able to pay at the door. However, we have a bonus. So for those who do pre-order online, you're going to be entered in a drawing to get a free box of the Grackles on release at the fall.
And that's, guys, if you guys don't understand, that is a huge deal. The fact that Greg has exclusivity for this is unheard of in the time that I've been smoking cigars, especially around here. This is a big deal. And I recall the first Blackbird you gave me. We both said these guys are going to be huge in sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think my first one was the Crow.
Yeah, the Unkind.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
The Unkind's amazing.
Still probably my favorite just because I love that dark flavor.
So there's, I would say the Unkind is by far my hands down favorite. And then you got the new Super B. And that
Superb.
Habano.
Yeah, not the Superb.
I do call it the Superb time to time, definitely. And it's quicker and easier to say, I think. But the Super B is amazing Habano.
So can you tell me about the Hawk that I'm smoking right now?
I can tell you a little bit. I believe it is a Brazilian wrapper. It was made for cigar culture. And it's, again, just like what the Grackle will be as a short run. Obviously, we're using a different wrapper and a different binder and different fillers. However, that, in my opinion, is one of the great, unheard of Blackbird cigars that I didn't know of that existed in the short run until after we started to do our short run.
Yeah, I was not aware of it until you gave it to me just now, pretty
It's
much.
really good.
Like
It is very good.
Yeah, gorgeous box press. I think it's a 6.5 by 52, 6 by 52, something like that.
It's like a nice pastel blue with like some sort of blend of orange too. Like very interesting color
Glad you
combination on
mentioned that,
the,
'cause I
on
know,
the
yeah,
band.
Jonas's artwork on his bands are incredible and so
top
unique.
notch, very top notch. He's a standout brand. We had met him. I met him personally at TPE, and the first year we had met him, we weren't too sure, other than we really liked the branding. We knew we saw the different colors, and you could see it matched the shade, or it matched the bird, or it matched the color of the day. So if you don't know, like the Blackbirds, the way if you have a sampler pack, which I brought one with me, basically the shade colors of the day. So it starts out with like the Jackdaw, which is like a yellow, and then it goes into the Finch, which is a light blue, and you get darker throughout the day. You finish at the Unkind, which is the dark purple. And so it's kind of meant for, that's how you maybe should smoke the cigars throughout the day.
That's freaking brilliant.
Well, this must be a sunrise stick then.
Well, it's a short run, so
kind of its
yeah.
own thing.
I mean, to make pastel blue and orange look good together, it takes very intelligent artistic skills, which I do not have.
There's really nothing worse than when you get an eye-catching band and you buy it and it doesn't smoke that great. Not the case here.
no, all the artwork, as far as the banding goes, is top notch.
And the smokes are just as good, if not better.
And that's the number one thing that we first liked with Blackbird wasn't just the flavor or the taste. It's the construction. It's a top notch. It's up there with Funte and J.C. Newman. It really is. And you can cover Drew Estates, etc. Their quality and construction, I have less burn issues than a lot of major boutiques.
This one right here, I mean, I lit up with a one match, perfect even burn, slow burn, which I love. I'm a slower smoker anyway. Great smoke production, easy draw. I mean, if you went in blind and told me this was a Fuente or a, anything top dollar that you're going to pay 3 times as much for, I would totally believe it.
I think it's a fabulous cigar. The great thing I like about Blackbird, even though he's actually releasing one of his very first cigars, is called the Macaw. In 2026, he's going to re-release it. And he's also got a new limited edition cigar that'll be coming out at some point, but I don't know all the full details on it yet. I have a clue. However, he's very budget friendly. So for someone who's not wanting to spend $15, $16 a cigar, we have cigars that are about $8 in our store. And you can get a Robusto size, or you can get a Toro size. And you're still going to be at that $10 range, which is fabulous.
And especially when they smoke like a $20 stick. It's tough to find stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Jonas is actually coming out with a $20 stick.
Which I'm a sucker
Will
for the
be
high dollar
well
stuff.
worth it.
But when you want a nice budget stuff, man,
I mean, you can just
Right in
tell
the
he
wheelhouse.
cares. Like you can feel the compassion for the cigar.
I think like now that I've been in the industry a little bit longer, the limited edition's more like this, for my opinion. It's more of a celebration of the cigar manufacturer, of themselves and their company, and to celebrate them. It really is. And that's why they release it in a short run fashion. So many boxes at LE only get 500 or 1,500 usually at max. And so if you can do that and be able to celebrate it and sell out those cigars, even if it's at that $20 price, in my opinion, there's very few, if maybe a handful of cigars that are $20 or more in value, in my opinion, that are worth it.
I'm right there with you. I totally agree. Now I have to ask, and I know there's some things that have to be kept behind closed doors. What can all you tell us about the Grackle, as far as what's actually, what the stick itself is going to be about, and how you became the exclusive, front runner with that stick?
Okay, so it's an interesting story. We had a Zoom meeting with a bunch of Ohio Cigar Mafia members and Jonas Santana from Blackbird, and we were doing basically a sampling and tasting of his sampler pack. And everybody.
Oh, so this was months ago.
This was in November.
Gotcha. Okay.
This was right after Thanksgiving. I want to say the weekend after. And I actually was in Las Vegas for a convention that, for the business again, and just happened to be able to do the Zoom, and it was an excellent Zoom. We were talking with Jonas about different cigars and, asking him about what's coming out in the future, and he was really enjoying the Zoom, and he's like, well, if you guys are interested, then maybe we can do a short run cigar together.
And immediately you're locked in.
I'm locked in, and he's like, well, what kind of state bird? What's the state bird for Ohio? And it's the cardinal. So, yeah, it's the cardinal, but you have the crow already, which is red, so that's kind of hard to do when cardinal's all red. So I'm automatically on my phone, and I'm just searching real quick, Ohio blackbirds, and come up and pulls up, and I'm like, that's a neat-ass bird. And I look at it, and it's looking vibrant in color, green, blue, purples, blacks. And I said the word. I said, grackle. And Jonas's just big smile, and he just lit up, and he's like, we're talking. And he was all ears from that moment on. And he's like, we'll get you some test blends, and I'll talk to you next week.
So is I don't know if you would know, but is Jonas like a bird watcher or something? Because it seems like he just knows every bird.
He knows a lot about a lot of birds. I would say he definitely knows more than I do. More about birds, more about art, and definitely more about cigars than I do.
Or maybe what's the proper term for aviarian or something like that?
Ornithological.
Is he a aviarian guy? Maybe
I-
bird watcher's offensive in that community. I don't know.
It's actually a slur.
I don't think so. I think that he definitely enjoys the birds, and from everything that I've seen, he's in his interviews and everything, he's definitely into the whole theme of what his company is for. And the biggest part of it is the can't clip my wings. And if you didn't know, Jonas worked for Artista Cigars, and he was a roller for them before he basically was trying to tell them his idea to do this cigar or this brand, and they didn't like the idea. So he went out to find a way to do it himself, and him and his brother did. His brother is actually his master roller, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to say the other thing, too, is birds are like the staple of artwork, too, in
Right.
a lot of places, so it makes sense.
So I think it would be best to ask him at the event, because he's going to be able to explain more in detail with his own personal. But with a lot of the interviews that I've seen, he's definitely into the birds for sure. And the fact that he even knew what a grackle was before, without looking it up, that tells you a lot right there.
Yeah,
I
I
had
didn't
no
know.
clue what it
I
was until I looked
honestly
it up.
thought it was just the name of the cigar and that the bird was going to be a different, whatever the bird
I've
is.
lived in Ohio my entire life and never once heard of a grackle.
And so the grackle is actually really popular. And if you see a flock of blackbirds in Ohio, it's a good chance that they are a grackle.
The more you know.
Yeah, and they can look in various different ways. They may be gray, they may be black, they may have the vibrant colors, and some of that's dependent upon if they're male or female.
That's your SNS fact of the day.
So
Come here
now
for stats.
you are a bird guy.
Thanks to Jonas.
By
I've
association,
researched
yeah.
some more, yeah.
It's going to rub off on you. Absolutely.
So we're definitely excited about the grackle itself. Is a Mexican wrapper with an Ecuadorian binder. The fillers are Nicaraguan as well as Dominican. It presents a really unique taste. It's going to be, I would say, definitely very creamy, and it definitely transitions more than 3 times. And you're not going to get just wood or just leather,
Oh,
Cam
sounds
just lit
like my
up.
favorite stick.
Exactly.
but you'll
giving
get
me,
a little bit of those notes. But it's a good transitional stick, and everything that I've touched in the last 2 years from Blackbird that he comes out with has been amazing.
Can you talk about it all, about the process of getting to pick out the blend that you wanted for this?
A little bit.
'Cause that to me would be like an absolute dream.
Well, so right away, when we were on the Zoom with Jonas, while we were discussing it, he asked a lot of questions, and Jonas is very meticulous in picking out everything that's said in the conversation, whether it's a sidebar, somebody saying in a conversation somewhere else. He picks up on it all. He takes notes of it all. And there was a lot of recommendations. And I think Colin, our store manager, was definitely probably the first one who spoke up when he said, well, what kind of wrapper would you like? It was silent for about 5 seconds. And Colin's like, I want a Connecticut broadleaf. And Jonas is like, that's not impossible, but very expensive.
Yeah, a little pricey.
A little bit pricey. And do you guys want $20 cigars? No, we don't. We're looking to stay within the budget. So Connecticut broadleaf out the window, right there on the Zoom, pretty much. But he had several different tobaccos that he discussed while we were on the Zoom, and we kind of discussed kind of what we were looking for. So he already had an idea, and it wasn't just my idea. It was kind of the group collaborative. So we wanted a medium to 3/4 cigar. We didn't want nothing that was completely full, and we didn't want something that was medium but too mild.
Don't want to alienate either.
I think I remember the poll. There was a poll put up about how do you like your cigars, whether they were full, medium, and all that. So that's probably where all that information came
Absolutely.
from.
That was posted in the group, and so that way we get an idea. And then Jonas came back with, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to send you 2 totally different cigars for you to try out. And got them, but it wasn't a lot. It was just a few. Tried them out. Me, my manager, we tried them out first, and we're just kind of like, we like this mild one, but it just needs a little more Ligero. Let's get more opinions. Jonas, I need a lot more cigars.
And he came through.
And he came through. Multiple bundles sent our way on request, and we sent some out to the members of the Ohio Cigar Mafia. We sent basically anyone who had pre-ordered a Super B 6-pack, a trial of those cigars to try. So if there's anybody who didn't get one, I apologize. We're completely out right now, but to my knowledge, Jonas is going to have some Grackles at the event on April 27th, so that's going to be your best chance to try it before the fall. Maybe the last chance.
I have a question about Colin, actually.
Absolutely.
So he's worked at Tip Top for as long as I can remember the doors being open. Was he into cigars before? Because that guy I feel like he knows everything.
Okay, so Colin's a sponge, and it's a matter of whether or not he wants to absorb it. So
that's really the best kind of sponge to be.
It is, and at the beginning, he didn't know much about cigars. He knew how to cut it and light it. We'll put it that way. And so, however, fortunately for us, we had a really good crew who was very eager to learn, and which is very hard to find someone nowadays, compared to 3 or 4 years ago, willing to learn, put time in to spend 3 hours a night for maybe 30 days to be able to learn cigars. It's an outside the job as well for the beginning if you want to really get into it. So he spent the time to learn all about the cigars, and it wasn't just watching reviews. He actually was like, I'm going to buy this and this and this weekend, and I want to try them out and see what's different about them. And then I'm going to watch a review and then take notes. And so he really applied himself a lot. I mean, to answer your question, he's very committed as far as getting the flavors down, being able to recommend to customers. When a customer comes in, 9 times out of 10, they're asking for Colin.
That's your whole staff,
Oh,
really.
yeah.
I mean, your whole staff, you go in and you're like, well, I like a little bit of cream, but not super mild. And then they're like, oh, right here.
And we really got fortunate because last year when we had the Father's Day event, he was offered a job at AJ Fernandez. And some people don't know that, but he was offered that, and he decided to stay here with the shop and try to see us through to getting the lounge and moving forward with that. And, he's also got kids, so he wants to stay home for them as well versus being on the road. So, but as far as the knowledge of cigars, he learned it on his own a lot. I taught him a lot, but at the same time, I can't teach you everything. And he took that being a sponge and just absorbed everything I gave him and ran with it.
I'm glad we touched on that because, your shop in general, even for like an experienced guy like me, I'll walk in and usually say, what's new? Show me around. I'll tell Colin, hey, you know what I like? Find me something good.
Yep.
You guys always have usually something I never had before, which is my favorite thing. Because I already know what I like. Give me something new here.
And that's the thing, I just it's so hard for me to believe that he didn't come
Already
in
like
with
a
all this
connoisseur.
information.
Yeah.
Like
I
he
can
is
recall the days
so
when he smoked
knowledgeable.
an acid, and then he smoked a deadwood, and then he smoked, the entry-level cigars just like any other person. Here's the thing: everybody kind of doesn't, don't think about it, but we all start at the beginning somewhere. And as far as a shop owner goes, and even Colin could tell you this himself, when a new customer comes in that wants to get into cigars, or they're just new to cigars and tried one with a friend, and now they want to get more into it, and they're hesitant to ask the questions they need to ask because they don't want to look like they don't know anything.
Right.
And I get that in every industry, but we've been saying on the show for years, there's no more welcoming community or welcoming
Exactly.
staff people than cigar shops. Like, they want to, it's not just your job, they want to help you find out what you like
And
and don't like.
honestly, this is probably the worst thing to trial and error on your own. Because that would be the quickest way to be like, cigars aren't for me.
If you go into a super dark Maduro for your first smoke, you're like, I just don't like cigars.
Yeah.
I'm never smoking again.
Well, even worse, I've had people say, well, how much do I inhale? You don't inhale any of it. You bring it in your mouth, you let it out.
Yeah. At most, maybe like a mouthwash.
Right.
If you're really trying to. But even then, it's like, that's for like the cigar reviewers. Like, they're going to do that because that's what they do.
Exactly.
Like, as a consumer, you can get the bold flavors with just a quick breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah. So if you're just new getting into cigars, I can recommend a few YouTube channels right away. And the reason I recommend them is because they only support us over the last, I would say, almost a year now.
Which is so cool to see happen here.
It's amazing. Cigar Hound Dog, I want to shout out to these guys. Cigar Hound Dog, Pick Jimmy, Master Your Ash, Vintage Cigar, Cigar Alchemist, as well as Working Man Cigars. Those guys are doing an amazing job. If you want to learn about cigars, that's who you want to watch. They have all different unique styles, and they even cover our same content in a completely different way, each one of them.
And I believe a lot of those got started with a program that you started since last time you were on the show with your Cigar of the Month Club.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that, because of course we were day one buyers. It's my favorite thing.
And Austin literally talks about it at the beginning of every month on every show.
Yeah, first show of the month, I'll smoke something from that pack.
And honestly, one thing we need to get back to is actually reviewing our cigars. Which we haven't done in a long time.
Final reviews have been kind of a month or two.
We have these beautiful leather journals that have just been getting stale.
A little dusty. But the Cigar of the Month Club, which now has 2 tiers. Tell us about that.
Well, I'll give credit to one of the OCM members who came in at our event last year. That would be Wolfie. And he said, oh my goodness, I see you guys are way overstocked and you need to start a mail order. I said, that's a good idea. And we had just at that time, we just launched our website, maybe 3 weeks before. And we maybe had it up for 2 or 3 months before, where you couldn't purchase with a credit card yet. But it was just kind of in the building phase. But yeah, so we were told at our event, hey, you guys need to start a mail service. So I started to research other websites and what they were doing, and obviously I saw the Cigar of the Month Club, and some of the more popular ones were kind of like Smoke Inn, Famous Smoke Shop. There's many, pretty much everybody has one, Privada Cigar, etc. But the one thing that I picked up on really quick was they're not sending any good cigars. They were sending crap. They were sending the cheapest. They were sending the cigars that don't sell. They were sending cigars that I would personally hate.
A lot of their overstock.
Exactly.
Things just to get rid of.
So when I started the club, it started with, these are cigars that are can't-miss cigars. These are cigars that I think, in my opinion, that not only I would enjoy, everybody else would probably enjoy. However, at the same time, with this industry, I've learned not everybody's got the same palate. Not everybody's going to like the same flavor. You can watch one reviewer and find some that may give you an idea of what your palate's similar to, but you're never going to find someone that's spot on. And same if you go to a Mexican restaurant. Some like sour cream, some like guacamole, some like salsa, some don't like none of that. They just want the chips. So
Queso all day.
there you go. I like queso too. So yeah, it's Definitely been a journey. We'll say that.
How did you just each month? How do you decide on what you want to put in? Because I'm always blown away.
I'm-
One, by usually the heavy hitters, and even for me the things like I haven't been exposed to yet that I smoke for the first time that I maybe wouldn't have bought otherwise, but I end up loving.
So when I go to these shows and conventions, we try to meet with each manufacturer, find out what's the best, and it's not always the most expensive cigar, and that's the biggest misconception in cigars. They think the most expensive is the best. Sometimes it's the worst. A reason for that is a lot of them like to put a lot of pepper in it, and if you don't like pepper, no thanks. So that eliminates half the $20+ cigars for me. But when I'm picking out the cigars, I want a variety. I want to make sure that if there's someone who's a mild to medium smoker, they're going to have something to smoke. If there's someone who's a medium to bold smoker, they're going to have something to smoke. And then when we're basically picking the other two cigars, it's more of personal preference. If I was to smoke today, this is what I would smoke. And then I'll pick that pack out. I'll usually pick out almost double the amount of what the Cigar of the Month Club should be. I'll sit them in the back in a small humidor, and then I'll go back a couple days later. No, not these ones. And I'm being really critical about myself and what I'm picking and putting in them. And it doesn't matter what I put in them. I feel like there's going to be people that hate it, and there's going to be people that love it. So,
Well, I feel like you also put such a variety. I mean, you have a 5 cigar limit basically, but the variety of flavor and palate variety you have in those 5 cigars you pick, it's very clearly a very meticulous choice for each stick.
absolutely.
Because no stick's like the other.
A part of that for me really helped was, like I said, the YouTubers that I shouted out. When I watched their monthly reviews for all the major clubs, and what they were liking was the same thing that I was liking, but they was barely ever getting it. So when I started my club, it's like, we're tip top. We're not going to be tip bottom or the bottom barrel.
Tip mid.
We're not going to be getting rid of the crap we don't want. We're going to actually send people stuff that makes them want to come to us because we got stuff they want. And it's good to smoke. It's not below mid-tier, I should say. So we're always trying to make sure that every cigar we put in, it's very well thought out for each month. We also do the holiday packs. We try to sometimes pick out cigars that we enjoy based on the holidays, like the Halloween pack every cigar had orange to it.
Of course, yep.
St. Patrick's, I think all but one had green to it. So we do put a little extra thought into it for certain months as well, besides just what we like, because we can do that another month at another time.
That would be my single favorite part of the job. Just curating packs each month.
Yeah,
If you ever need a
seasonal pack
very,
specifically,
very,
yeah.
very part-time hire, just a couple hours a week, I'd be happy to fill that position.
But no cigar that we put in there, I haven't personally tested. If I haven't already tried it myself, it's not going in there.
Oh, of course.
That's my number one thing.
That'll go months down the road.
But there is going to be things that I like that neither one of you like, and there's going to be things that both you love that I don't like myself. That's just the cigar world. That's why we have millions of cigars to choose from.
It's a never-ending journey. Yeah.
I will say, at this point in my journey, I've still yet to meet a cigar I didn't like.
I have.
Outside of like construction issues or burn issues,
Right.
That's most of the issue.
yeah. In terms of just flavor, I've never had to put anything down. Of course, I don't smoke like the infused stuff anymore. That's a whole different ballgame. It's just not. I'm not the demo for that. You know.
Yeah. The only one you do speak highly of is the cafe, the coffee one, like a light coffee infused.
Oh, like the Java, the
Yeah.
Duo-States Java.
Yeah. I think
If you
that's
ever
the
want
one you
something
did say
coffee
you did
flavored,
enjoy.
yeah, it's a nice little breakfast stick.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, there's really no one brand or stick that I've like downright won't buy, won't smoke if it's the only thing there. And you also have the premium Cigar of the Month Club.
Correct. We do have the regular Cigar of the Month Club, which is mailed to you, $29.95. We're now including 4 cigars, and then you have the premium. So with the premium, what that does is give you the option to choose what range of cigar as far as strength and boldness that you would like. So we have a mild to medium pack, and then we have a medium to bold pack. And we now we're generally keeping it at about 6 to 7 cigars. It just depends on kind of the value of the cigars, as well as some of the cigars can be very limited that we put into the premiums, and Generally, we always try to include at least one that's always in the top 25 of Cigar Aficionado, even if it's not the current year. It may be 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but we're trying to make sure we include one Cigar Aficionado top 25.
Yeah, bang for your buck wise, there's not even a second place contender for any kind of monthly subscription that I've come across.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, that goes. My favorite day, and usually it's not even the first of the month, it's like the 29th or 30th that I check my mailbox and my cigar of the month is out there.
We try to get them out as fast as possible.
And it's like a kid on Christmas.
It's like Christmas every month.
Yeah, I don't know what's in it yet. I'm so excited.
And you guys do a great job with packaging and humidifying the packaging and all that stuff too.
And the index cards telling people that here's what you're going to smoke. Here's what you might, the notes you might get.
And that just is a testament to the knowledge that you guys have built at Tip Top. Like, I'm sure it's not just you picking the cigars. I'm sure Colin has a say and the other guys have a say. And to have that insight from everyone's different palate just makes it not only a super unique cigar pack, but creative. Like Austin said, there's stuff that he never even looked at in the shop. And now maybe he's going to buy 2 or 3 of them at a time.
Absolutely. I know this previous month, I know in the premium, the pack that you brought up, we included the United cigar. And when I sent that out west to a lot of the reviewers, they're like ecstatic. They're like,
yeah.
Oh my God, a United Maduro? Are you kidding me? And they're like, I've seen these on video, I've seen these on Instagram, but I've never seen one in person until now. And I'm like, how have you not had this cigar?
Well, it's an honor that you can, pop that cherry for him in that way.
Hey, it's humbled to do so.
Now, we touched on earlier, because again, last time you were on the show, the website was not up yet. How has that been for business? How has it been a challenge also to upload all of your inventory to the website? That had to be a pain in the ass.
And then to keep updating it when something's sold out or...
And then to expand
the expansion
nationwide.
Yeah, we started out in just Ohio only for, I think it was about 90 days roughly. And then we basically was trying to test the website, and we thought we had all the kinks worked out, and that wasn't even the case. As soon as we opened it up to go into the 40-plus states, a lot of people let us know, you need to do this, you need to do that. And even to this day, last week, I was talking to a guy who's on our Cigars Reddit. He was letting me know of everything that I could do to improve our site. So,
in a kind way, I'm sure.
It was very helpful. It has improved the functionality of our site. So he's got, I think, about 5 emails that I read entirely, and I already implemented 2 changes to the site immediately within 24 hours.
Very user-friendly site. Everything's laid out pretty clearly.
We try to, but we're definitely want to try to get it towards better on mobile, because what we're learning is everybody uses mobile now, whether it's a phone or an iPad.
Yeah, I haven't used my desktop in I don't even know how long.
It's over 90% of our users use mobile on our website.
Yeah, it's a little tricky to navigate on mobile, but
it is.
Again, still everything's where it should be.
Thank you.
Still, even as a mobile user, very user-friendly.
There is some people don't know this, but if you click cigars, there is a drop-down menu that'll have all the brands, and you can just go down by
you
brand.
can search individually exactly what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but we are trying to break it
foolproof.
down to even more subcategories. And in the categories, for example, today we were working on the J.C. Newmans. We always had Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Julius Caesar, everything included into, or Diamond Crowd included basically into the J.C. Newman category. Now we're breaking it up so you can go Brick House, Perla Del Mar.
So like J.C. Newman would then have a drop-down menu.
No, so you don't even have to. It's just as you're going through the categories, it'll be in alphabetical order.
Gotcha.
So if you want just that specific brand from J.C. Newman, you can just click right into Diamond Crowns or whatever you want.
And how has it grown from, I'm assuming when you first started it was just Ohio was your main consumer base. Now that you're nationwide, have we been dethroned?
Almost
Ohio
nationwide.
has been dethroned.
Almost nationwide.
Well, in terms of overall spread.
We're as nationwide as we can at the moment.
Yeah, geographically speaking, nationwide.
Yeah.
We're in 46 states as far as shipping to. It's not that we don't want to ship to those states. It's those states have laws
logistically, it's a nightmare, too.
Exactly. We can't do it.
Yeah.
So as far as when it started out, we were really slow, but we had a lot of Ohio traffic from our local customers. We had a lot of support from Ohio Cigar Mafia. We had a lot of support just from anyone who had shopped in our store before in general, because we were trying to tell people about 90 days before, we're going to launch a site, we're going to launch a site. And it started out really slow, and each month it just kind of built and built. And after that 90-day mark, when we launched that Cigar of the Month Club, it had a little pop to it, and we're like, oh, this might be maybe a little help here. Then I'm like, well, we don't have a YouTube channel, which we're actually looking into doing now, just so you know.
I was going to say, I know you had mentioned that
A while back.
like the first time we met you, before we even had you on the show,
Absolutely.
was you guys doing some sort of YouTube-related content.
Well, I think the hardest part for that is watching the YouTubers that are currently out and are getting a lot of items banned or videos banned.
Yeah.
Or demonetized, which I'm not worried about monetization. We're just kind of wanting to let people know what we got.
Outreach.
Yeah. And so I had to find what would be our style, and I think I found what that can be.
And you have to be unique compared to the other ones, because if I have my guy, one of those guys you named already, if that's my go-to, yeah, there's going to be new cigar reviewers, but what's going to draw me to them while still watching my guy? So that's kind of the hard part about content in general, is like, what's going to separate us from the rest of the pack?
Right. And so my thinking on that right away was, we don't have a YouTube channel. And so for us, we don't have 20, 30, 50,000 subscribers, or, there's Zeal Cigars, there's Cigars Daily, where they have, I want to say, almost 250,000 subscribers probably. So right away, my thing was, we needed to let people know about this Cigar of the Month. What can we do to do it? And that's where I got back to, well, when I started the Cigar of the Month Club, these guys I watched because the content they put out was good. They actually went over the cigars that were coming out, what they liked or didn't like about the pack, how good the price was, how good the delivery was, how well the cigars were taken care of during the delivery. So I was very meticulous on all that, and just followed what they were doing as far as complaints, and took all that and tried to fix it and make it better. And it's almost like TDK. We didn't make it, but we made it better.
Simple as that. That's kind of the process,
Right.
Like I said, in any kind of content. The first question we had with starting up the show was, well, there's billions of sports shows out there. How can we be different?
So what I did was I reached out to the YouTubers on Instagram, their social media, any platform they gave me. And there was a couple of them that didn't really have a way to actually direct message. So I said, what we're going to do is we're going to make up Cigar of the Month packs, and we're going to send it to them. And I did. I was able to reach Cigar Hound Dog. I was able to reach Master Your Ash. And they were very receptive. We'll take it. We'll do it. Which is kind of a trade-off. They get some free product for a review.
You scratch my back, we'll scratch yours.
Absolutely.
That's business. That's
Absolutely.
any business.
Absolutely. So right now, like I said, Master Your Ash had actually changed his format because he didn't want to be the same as everybody else. And I agree, because his content style is more about pairings. And he's actually one of the head-up guys for the Bar Association in Las Vegas. So he knows about drinks and pairing cigars. He's one of the top guys you can go to for reviews on pairings, in my opinion. And so, yeah, we put the content or the packages in their hands, and they helped us promote it out. And instantly, within days of Cigar Hound Dog and Pick Jimmy launching their videos and Master Your Ash, it was sold out. And to this day, it's almost a year now. June will be a year for sure. And we maybe get 1 or 2 spots open a month, and that's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know it's like
full capacity,
very exclusive, and it has been pretty much since the jump.
Yeah.
And I know you were able to grow it some, but it's like you said, there's 3 spots open, get in, and then you go to put in, and they're gone.
Half an hour later, we're locked up.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cigar of the Month Club definitely helped put us on the map on the site. And I think, as you said, the content, the images, and loading all that up, that was a long workload.
You had to go through every single piece of your inventory, which is massive, by the way. We talk about your selection all the time.
We have
the best around here.
I was going to say, that's just what we can see when you walk in.
Yeah.
I think we have over 1,800 cigars right now. I want to say we have maybe over 1,500 or 1,600 listed on the site. We're still every day listing. And we're getting the new releases in, we're trying to let them out. And especially if it's something popping.
And that's just the cigars, too.
Oh, yeah.
Not including everything else you can buy off the site.
Absolutely. So we do have the lighters, the cutters, humidors. We're actually out of mostly all the humidors at the moment. The Warfighters were definitely the most popular.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Pelican cases just
Yeah,
run out. They're
big
quick.
time.
Absolutely. Always. They just come in and go. So, yeah, the cigars is keeping us busy with the imagery. Now we got to work on more of our descriptions.
Do you guys do all that in-house?
We do that all in-house. We don't have any
That's even more
crew to
impressive.
do anything. We do have a media guru who handles all of our security to make sure that the site is very well secured.
That's good.
He's also able to, he knows all the codes and such to be able to help me with the design of the site, and so he's very helpful. Jansen Medias, shout out to him. So he's a local guy here as well, and he knows what he's doing. He's helped us out a lot, and I'm going to ask a lot more of him over the next few months.
Now, is he a cigar guy?
He's not a cigar guy,
Yet.
to my knowledge.
Yet.
He'll break.
We all do.
break.
I think once we spend some more money with him, he's going to break.
Well, especially not only that, but you're helping deliver on a cigar website that's constantly growing. Eventually, you're going to get your interest peaked.
Absolutely.
And it's not only with the website design, but you're going to be interested in the product.
Absolutely. When we came out, when I told him, I said, hey, I need a subscription service. This Cigar of the Month Club requires subscription service. I need to be able to have renewing subscriptions so that way nobody has any issues with their card. It's going to process for them unless their card's expired or if they cancel it. And he's like, I gotcha. And he took care of it and all the back-end coding for me, and it's been great. I paid a little bit of money for it, of course, but
Well worth every penny.
It's
Because
definitely
again,
been
I mean,
worth
I
it.
signed up once, and at least by the first of every month, I'm getting my new pack in without having to do anything with it.
so it's been a great thing for the Cigar of the Month Club, and then we brought out the premium. The premium has definitely helped out a lot, but like you said, getting the content onto the site, that was the biggest thing. That was our biggest hurdle, was uploading the images, because, for example, say you have My Father de los Antilles, but there's 10 different versions,
Yeah.
different sizes, so you have to take all those images, and there's no real way to know what size that image is, and then you have to be able to look at it and pair it up with the exact item that you're trying to sell on the website. So it's a lot of sorting of photos and trying to figure out which one's what, and
And then the quality of the images, and you get
what?
everything.
It got to the point we hired a photographer for 2 days, and it got to the point it was so costly that I said, forget the quality, let's just get the images. And we bought our own camera, and so we, it was
Well, I'm saying, like, even the quality of the images is still good.
yeah, thank you.
So, like, that's another thing that you have to look at when you're doing that is not only, yes, an image is good, no matter how you look at it. If there is an image, it's going to be good.
So
But a quality image is going to go even further.
exactly, and you can thank Colin for a lot of that. If you go into some of the earlier images for earlier cigars, they're going to be kind of zoomed out or a little bit smaller, and the ones now, they're more zoomed in, so you can actually see the texture, if the cigar is even toothy. So it's something that he's really been working on for, I want to say, almost about 4 months now, and it's a continuous process.
Once again, Colin's the man.
MVP.
We need to have him on.
I'm sure you do
We've got
enjoy
a
it.
long,
sure he would,
we've got a long
yeah.
guest list kind of growing here. for
Yeah,
sure.
when I saw your application come in, I'm like, come on.
He texted me. He's like,
This guy's
"Hey,
gotta know,
hey,
right?"
Chance," he's like, how do I get on the show?" I'm like, "Dude, you have an open invite. Like, whatever you want, dude, just come on in."
Hey, I was happy to apply. I'm like, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
What'd you think of the form? Pretty easy to use?
Super easy to do.
All that good stuff?
Yeah, super easy. It only took me 2 minutes.
That was all you, pal.
I just threw it together one day before work and was like, yeah, that'll work, right?
Good enough.
It was straight to the point,
Cool.
cut and dry.
And we appreciate the fact you actually, even though you didn't have to, you did go through and fill out a form.
Absolutely.
Just to make us feel a little more professional.
Well, we started out around near the same time as you guys did. You guys have been supporting us.
Oh, yeah,
We've
you
been
were
supporting you.
I think you were the first shop we gave our business cards to.
Yeah.
I mean, you were kind of.
You guys in Cigaro, we pretty much got in when you guys opened the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe you guys did the cigar interview right before me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our very first thing a few months before. Like, OCM was because of Tip Top.
Yeah.
Saw it at your shop. You guys have been day one supporters. And, yeah, we're honored to be not quite day one, but very early supporters of you guys.
And we appreciate it. You guys are always giving us shout outs. And try to listen as much as I can.
When we're putting shows out, that is.
And when you're putting out the shows, exactly.
Hey, you're a business guy. You got things to do.
You know what? Go back to the last interview that you did with me, and I guarantee you my demeanor is a lot different now. No doubt about it. I'm just there. I feel like
Not as high strung for sure. Definitely a lot more laid back, casual.
Yeah,
And probably us too.
Yeah, we were in the
We've
early
come a
stages.
long way there.
yeah, 100%.
That's probably episode, what, like 25?
It was pretty early. I mean,
not
we
even
weren't
before
even.
in the
that.
teens.
We were
Yeah.
pre-Shane, or no? You were right after we got Shane.
No.
Pre-Shane.
He was definitely
Or
pre-Shane.
no, I brought him cigars over right as you got him.
Yeah. It was
Yes, yeah, you gave him that 10-pack of
Perdomo.
the
Yeah.
Perdomo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the champagne and all that.
The fact that he hadn't even met Shane yet, but knew what he liked and brought it in for him. That was big time.
And he loved every single one of those cigars, by the way.
That's good. It's good.
Greg does not miss.
Hey, me and Colin try to aim to please when it comes to picking out a cigar. You may come into the store and just say, "Hey, pick me out some," but let me tell you, the wheels are turning in the head. Whether it's me or him, we're just like, "Oh, okay, well,
So as
I
soon
gotta
as you
impress
hear
you."
that bell ding, you're
Yeah.
like, okay, here we go.
It's an easy sell.
we know we want to impress you, and so we're, on a weekly basis. We got new cigars coming in on a weekly basis. Sometimes they're not there for the whole day; they're gone. Sometimes they're for a few weeks to a few months, but we try to keep a lot of limiteds coming in that are not just hard to get, but good. And that's very hard to find. And when I mean good, I don't mean $20 cigars. I mean $10, $12 cigars that are limiteds, which, if you don't know, like we just had one in as a $10 cigar, was the, I want to say the Crucible from Diesel.
Yeah.
And we had a customer come in, he's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, it's $10.
Take a chance. Why not?
Colin got him to buy the cigar. It's Colin. He goes, hey, I need that whole box.
Hey, you got it.
It's gone.
Yeah, not only is Colin knowledgeable, but he's a phenomenal salesman.
Well, I think it has to do with the pairings. I think it has the pairing with the customer with the cigar. If you give the wrong cigar to a customer who, for example, someone doesn't like pepper, and you give them pepper, your whole, what you're thinking, it's out the window.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're not going to trust what you're suggesting.
And he's very relatable.
Yeah.
Like
He's very personable.
Yeah, he's not like you need to try this one because I like it. He's like, I mean, I didn't like those when I first started, but as my palate built, like he's very personable. He's honestly, I couldn't imagine a better employee.
He's been doing a really good job. We definitely enjoy Colin. I can't say enough about him. Me and him feel like we work a lot more than what we get paid. I'll put it that way. But at the same time, we do feel like that we're building something that's unstoppable. And we're growing every year. We get the support from guys like you, Ohio Cigar Mafia, Jonas Santana from Blackbird Cigars with the short run cigar. Everybody that's inside the industry. Today I had Mark from JC Newman, or Funte Mark, come in today, and he was very supportive with everything that we're doing. Right now we're working on trying to get our lounge going forward. That's our biggest goal. The website, we're focused on that as well. But it's kind of a balancing act to make sure that we are making sure our local customers are completely satisfied, make sure the online customers are satisfied. And right now, we're at the point where we think to satisfy our local customers, we must get a lounge. And we got a feeling that once we do that, we're going to be one of the top 3 destinations for a lounge in Ohio.
Oh, without a doubt.
Honestly, that would probably help bring your online customers in
Absolutely.
to the lounge. Because they're going to want to meet these guys. Who am I buying cigars from?
Let's sit down and smoke for a few hours.
Yeah.
Love to have it. Can't wait.
Because I'm sure Colin will be in there every day, even when he's off.
He's in there every day now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you'll be in there every day. All your guys, you're going to have to pay them to stay at home.
Oh, yeah.
You get your regular customers. I'll be in there in the morning. After work. God, I can't wait.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Only a matter of time.
So, but right now it's all about, for us, the event coming up on April 27th in Blackbird Cigars, Ohio Cigar Mafia. It's a fundraiser. It's a charitable event. It's going to be Dogs Inc.
Yep.
Yeah, want to make sure I get that right. Dogs Inc. will be there with Sean Brown, and he'll be bringing his dog, telling him his story, that basically the charitable contribution is going towards first responders and veterans who suffer from PTSD. To me, this is one of the greatest things we could do, is to put a dog into someone's hands who does not currently have a best friend. And I myself love dogs. Can't wait. We're already looking at getting another one. It's probably not going to be as good of a dog as a guide dog, but it's going to be a good dog either way.
Have you thought about doing the what do they call it? When they send you, when Dogs Inc. will send you a puppy to foster for that.
No, I couldn't do that
Neither
because
could
the
I.
separation anxiety
Yeah,
would be terrible.
I'd get way too attached.
I'd
for
get
sure.
attached quickly from a puppy.
Especially all the time. You have to take them everywhere. You got to expose them to everything. Like,
Yeah.
come on, that takes a strong person.
And I'll give an example. Diane, she took the dog to work. She raised a puppy and took the dog to work.
Sparky.
For 6
Yeah.
months, I think it was. And, she's very attached. And to my recollection right now, she may be actually getting Sparky back.
Yeah,
She is.
probably.
Yeah,
I think maybe right now.
Basically had to be medically retired.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately.
but fortunate for her, she got her dog back.
Right, absolutely.
Really.
And I think that they're going to be super happy to have him back.
Oh, for
Hands
sure.
down. They
And it's
were
not going to
loved.
be any different. He's already well mannered in public. She's still going to take him everywhere.
Absolutely. And again, just like it's almost ready it's a guide dog.
Yeah.
And the genetics they're doing down there with the Dogs Inc., if you haven't researched it yet, you should check it out.
Have you been down to the campus?
I have not been to the campus yet. I plan on being down there within the year. Sean asked me when I was on the Zoom to come down.
Yeah, we haven't been down there either, but it's definitely
in the works. Hopefully end of this year.
Definitely on my to-do list.
Well, maybe we'll have to plan a trip together.
That'd be ideal. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Maybe hit some cigar lounges down there, too.
Oh, there's plenty of options to choose from.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know plenty in Florida.
Now, if you guys, of course, we talk about the guide dogs pretty much every week on the show. But if you have not seen or listened to the Sean Brown Morgan Watt interview, which was I think last summer, again, by far really the only important thing we've actually ever done on this show. Please go check it out.
Other than having Greg Berk on for an interview for
What's
local
that?
business.
Second place, of course.
I think the guide dogs is definitely more important than cigars.
Yeah, very honored to do that. So again, if you guys have not heard that, go check it out. We'll share it again here pretty soon.
Pretty much everyone's favorite episode.
As it should
from
be.
what
It
I've
better be.
gathered.
You know why? Because we didn't talk.
That's how we do it.
That's our job.
It's always about the guest.
Exactly. That's why you're here, buddy.
All right. We appreciate it.
Want to go ahead and take 5 here?
Yeah.
A little
Sounds
fresh
good.
air, maybe? SNS episode 80 back after this. Welcome back to episode 80 of Sports and Stogies with our friend Greg Berk. A couple fan cues for you guys this week. First of all, more so for you golf, right, Greg?
I need to get into it.
We're in the same boat then. So for Cam, not throwing my 2 cents. Greg, of course, you as well. If you started on the green on every hole, could you win the Masters? And I'm going to throw in you get a professional caddy from Augusta, and you get a full week of practice on the course like the pros do.
Oh, man.
For me, absolutely not.
I'd like to think I'd make the cut.
It's Slice City over here.
Well, you're starting on the green. All you're doing is putting.
Just putting. But Augusta greens do very quick,
Oh, just putting.
and
You're just putting. You got, on
difficult.
a par 5, you got 5 putts to break even.
I'm not making that. I know for a fact.
Nope. Me neither.
I think I can make the cut. I
The
don't know if
question is,
I'd
could you win?
I don't think I could win, but I think I can make the cut.
Top 10.
I don't think so.
Oh, come on, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, making the cut doesn't count.
That's a win in my book.
Nah, come on. You can't make the cut from the green.
Yeah, you can. That's what I would do. I don't know. I would like to. I mean, I don't know.
What would you shoot?
I don't know. I'd
We say-
like to think I'd 2 to 3 putt most holes.
I think you're severely overestimating. I think you're underestimating the Augusta greens.
Maybe, but if I have a professional caddy from Augusta
And a week of prep.
and a week of prep, just putting's the easiest part.
So they say.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe top 15.
The golfers I know say absolutely yes, which I still think you're a little overconfident in your abilities there. But I'd give it a shot.
I'd definitely try.
I'd play some putt-putt in my day. Give me a full week with a true pros putter.
Yeah, and a good putter.
And a caddy.
Yeah, that goes a long way.
And
But a caddy telling me the
true
elevation.
outfit. A true outfit, too. You look good, shoot good.
Got to drop $12,000 on the outfit.
I'm getting sponsored by Nike, dude.
Give me
Come
the
on.
jacket.
That'd look good in the studio. We got an empty space right there.
Masters jacket.
Get it framed up like the Pete Rose jersey.
You could probably buy replicas.
Nah, I went the real deal. Greg, been a long time. Favorite new piece of decor here in studio? Because we were pretty much bare bones, I think, the first time. Not counting the not hung up Kentucky sign, which you've had for, 2 months now? But they suck now anyway.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Kentucky fan there.
Or the firefighter drive sign we had to take down because our firefighter left us full time.
I don't think we had the Diamond Crown and the Newman the Caesar plaques signed by Bobby Newman.
I was there when you got them, though.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, those definitely my crown jewels. And then one thing I always love, sentimentally, the top thing up here was a Christmas gift from my grandmother. That's my great-grandpa on his wedding day, lighting up stogies with the guys.
Wow.
Which I think is a pretty dope piece
That's
to have.
awesome. I would say probably the Pete Rose jersey.
Unfortunately, replica, not the real thing. But yeah, you never know.
It's not game worn.
To my knowledge, no.
It looks
But
game worn,
it's still
dude.
the hit king. It's Charlie Hustle.
Yeah.
Soon to be Hall of Famer.
He's
Should
always
be.
been a
After
Hall
the
of Famer in my book.
Shohei gambling thing, put Pete in.
He's always been a Hall of Famer in my book.
Next fan cue, baseball-wise. With all these MLB pitching injuries, usually elbows, Tommy John, what's causing it, and is there a solution? Because you have a lot of the top guys, most notably Spencer Strider here last week, that are missing 18 months, almost 2 full seasons because of these elbow issues.
Guys, you go throw a 95-mile-an-hour curveball.
Tell me how your elbow feels after that.
Yeah, throw one, let alone 85. That's all it is. The game's evolved beyond the human body.
I think it's the main thing. There's been talks of it being the pitch clock, which I don't think factors in maybe any more than 2%. Yeah, there's so much torque on these guys' elbows, throwing 101 50 times a game.
Yeah,
these
that's not
wicked
just
breaking balls.
That's just speed.
Yeah.
Speed and location, let alone curveballs used to be 55 mile an hour.
Okay, that's that's a little on the low end. But yeah, overall, I think with strength and conditioning, we've come so far. These guys are superhuman almost, and the elbow just can't take that. So is there a solution? I don't think so. You can't tell guys to throw slower, because if they do, the next guy up, the next young kid who's throwing 99, is going to take that spot.
I think the pitcher lifetime is just going to be shortened, unfortunately.
And I think it goes back to even just kids growing up in even middle school ball, high school ball.
Especially, yeah, if you start out as a pitcher and you're a pitcher forever, that elbow is going to be junk by 30.
You're seeing kids in high school having Tommy John. That never used to happen before. You can recover from it now, but you're seeing guys getting second and
a
third
lot of
Tommy
sports
Johns.
doctors say it's because of one sport's specialties.
And I was going to bring that up too. Guys used to play baseball for 6 months and go play basketball or play football or something else. Take a break from doing the same thing year round. Throwing
not that way
100 year
anymore.
round,
It's
you
just
can't do
not
that.
that way anymore.
Yeah,
They're doing it year round.
Especially pitching, where it's such a valuable thing and you have to be so good at it and so perfect at it. You only have so many throws in that elbow until something pops.
I was
right?
just thinking the other night, there's never going to be another Nolan Ryan. You know why? Because the pitchers, by the time they're 20, 21 years old, they're already pitched out. Their arm's done.
Yeah. And he was a freak on his own.
Yeah.
Like one of one, to throw for 25 years, throwing 100, and really never having an elbow issue.
And throwing a solid hit.
Superhuman. But yeah, I think now, you're going to see guys that have 2-3 good years and then elbows blown out.
Yep.
And then hopefully come back from it after that. But it's a really tough thing to come back from. And to be as good as you were, or even 80% as good as you were before that.
I think not only are they throwing harder, you can definitely see that. We're seeing that in the stats, the stat trackers. It's easy. But it's also a part of, I think, the older school generation, like you said, were playing multiple different sports, so they had different activities. It wasn't the same motion, but at the same time, they weren't always being, the society today is kind of like they're forcing their kids, like, you're the next NFL player, you're the next MLB player. And realistically, there's a 1% chance of that. But
1% of the 1%. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, but they're being forced to play year-round ball, and sometimes unwillingly, sometimes willingly, because they want to be that next best thing. But by the time they get to the pros, a lot of times they only got maybe 3 or 4 years left, and they're done. And because I think they're being trained so young that their body doesn't even have time to fully develop. I mean, even our body, it takes till age 25 for us to fully develop, even our brain.
And at 25, these guys are already 4 years in the league, if not longer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, not use if you're using only that specific set of muscles, the rest of your muscles are going to be weaker, and maybe that's one of those muscles that prevents Tommy John. Maybe Nolan Ryan was a 6-sport athlete up until through college, and he was just like, I can pick any of them. I think baseball's cool. I mean, look at like Kyler Murray and the other guy, like
Russell Wilson.
Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Like, they got drafted by the MLB and are playing football. They didn't do that because they only played football. And aside from Kyler, and that's just ankle because of his play style, there's no injuries in the arms.
You think quarterbacks throw 100 balls in a bullpen on their day off?
No.
Of course not. Why would you? There's no point. Even your top line starters are still throwing bullpens at least 3 times a week at full effort. That's going to catch up to you.
And maybe that needs changed. Maybe the practice regimen for starting pitchers needs changed. At least you're Cy Young.
It's a mix of that and at this point now where you're throwing 100% of your full effort on every single pitch. You don't see guys like Greg Maddux taking off 5 miles per hour on their fastball when they can. It's full effort. Maybe you throw 4 or 5 innings, and then we're pulling you, you're done. And after 100, when's the last guy to throw 250 innings? Clemens, Pedro, 20 years ago?
It's been a while.
You just don't have that anymore because you're giving full effort every single pitch, and that's just not sustainable if you're throwing 99.
I was going to say, now it's shocking if you go 7 in a game in your start.
Dude, look at complete game numbers from like last year compared to even just 2004, let's say. Staggering. There was like 7 last year. Guys used to throw 7 complete games in a season regularly. And it's not a medical thing. We've caught up as far as we can medical-wise. The fact that these guys are even coming back in 16 months is a miracle by itself. So to me, there's no solution. It's just kind of a thing you have to deal with. I don't know how we go forward from there. It sucks to lose these star guys from the game, but I don't know how you move forward from that.
Like I said, maybe training regimen. That could be something that's easily fixed. Like, hey, you can throw 50% of these bullpens throughout the week. That's fine.
Just keep your arm loose.
Yeah.
You got to have that rest once in a while.
But what do we know? We're just guys that talk on mic, right?
And without mics.
Occasionally, yeah. Usually. Let's go into the NFL with our leading story, which is, of course, a really, really sad note for all 3 of us. We're all huge fans of the late, great Orenthal James Simpson.
NFL Hall of Famer.
Alleged murderer, some would say.
Alleged.
But it's actually, I think it's an interesting discussion to think about. After the whole, criminal thing, we kind of don't talk about OJ the player, who at the time he retired was probably the second best running back of all time, behind Jim Brown. First got around for 2,000. I think still holds the highest yards per game in a season.
Believe so.
And is a legit Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Heisman winner. But never gets talked about because, kind of ruined it.
Part of that might also be because he played for Buffalo.
In his time, though, he was very appreciated. It just,
Yeah, but
after 94.
Also, Buffalo as a franchise just isn't really appreciated either.
And now
Unless
that I
you're
think
in
about
Buffalo.
it, Buffalo does not really honor a lot of their past athletes. Like
none of
Jim
them.
Kelly, you don't hear
Yeah,
about
none of
Thurman
them.
Thomas or any of the 90s Buffalo Bills that went 4 years in a row to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, none of them. And let alone OJ.
Right.
So maybe it's Buffalo's fault. Maybe they don't honor their past good enough. Maybe they look at it as blemishes instead of going to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row, which has that ever been done since?
Of course not. So maybe Mahomes in progress.
I guess that's true. This is what, his 3rd? No, because the one before that was Bengals-Rams.
No, he's won 2 straight. Been to 3 straight, right? Lost to Brady. 1, 2 in a row.
No, in between Brady and his win was Bengals-Rams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's back to 2.
And counting.
and counting.
Well, NFL-wise, of course, Greg, you're a Bengals guy, correct?
I follow them a bit, yeah.
They've
You
done
say
nothing.
they're your team.
My favorite team for the moment, yeah.
Congratulations on another off-season of doing nothing.
Absolutely.
How
what we do
confident
best.
are we in Joe Burrow coming back and being healthy and playing to his previous ability?
Well, at this point, I am not that confident.
With the new turf, especially.
I think he's got new offensive linemen, tackles that were needed,
Another big guy named Brown that's going to be useless
and that's a possibility.
Hopefully not useless.
and overpaid.
I hope he's come back fully recovered. Hopefully it doesn't end up being like last season where he had an injury, should have sat out for 6 weeks, and then worried about the season on that from that point. I guess coming into the season, we're just going to have to find out. But what I saw last year definitely was very injury prone the whole season, so really can't judge that. I have high hopes. I think he's definitely still one of the top quarterbacks when it comes to releasing the ball in the league. He's definitely got the fastest release.
I hope he goes back to MVP form and puts up some kind of fight in the AFC where it's seemingly the Chiefs to lose year in, year out. Of a tough division. Pittsburgh should be better.
So far,
Brownies.
the Chiefs' kryptonite is Joe Burrow.
The only kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thus far.
Revenge
and Tom
tour.
Brady.
Well, he's everybody's kryptonite except
Right.
Eli Manning.
But I will say, based on his track record of his 4 years in the league, we're at the point where after a season-ending injury, the next step's the Super Bowl again.
So put your bets in right now. To at least make an appearance. Maybe not
Because they
win.
say history repeats itself.
I have heard that before.
And Joe Burrow's going to go back to the Super Bowl, but the Bengals are going to lose. That's just historically accurate.
So again, put your bets in right now. Signing wise, we have 3 weeks worth to cover up here.
Yeah, and not really a whole lot.
Nothing huge, but a couple notable ones. The Jarius Sneed of the Titans for a 25 third-round pick. And some cap space for the Chiefs.
That one kind of shocked me.
Thought they would have kept him. He's a top 10, maybe top 5 corner in the league.
Yeah,
Should have been a Pro Bowler. Should have been All-Pro.
Definitely weird.
I don't really know what the Titans are doing.
Just whatever they
But they're
want,
getting
apparently.
some good pieces, but
For
there's
what?
no quarterback play there. You lose Derrick Henry, bring in Tony Pollard, bring in Sneed, bring in who's the wideout they got?
Well, last year they got D-Hop.
Well, I mean, just this year in the offseason, right? Didn't they bring in Calvin Ridley?
Oh, yeah.
All these
Yeah.
weird pieces that don't seem to fit with their system right now.
D-Hop, Traylon Burks, and Calvin Ridley should be nice.
Yeah, but who's throwing the ball to him?
Sling and will, dude.
Is that what you want?
Absolutely. Mayo Man.
Handing off to Tony Pollard?
Handing off to Tony Pollard on the outside, hopefully.
Sneaky dark horse in the South?
The South outside of Houston is anybody's ball game.
Which, just skip forward real quick, I guess you can no longer claim the Texans.
I'm going to low-key claim the Texans.
I wish you pulled tape up because I'm pretty sure you said if the Browns cut Nick Chubb this year, you'll leave. Otherwise, you're locked in forever.
If I did say this year, I must have misspoke.
I think you said specifically this
Nick
year.
Chubb has to retire a Brown for them to keep my fandom.
Allegedly. But did restructure down to 11.75 this year with incentive potential. I don't know what those numbers are, but hopefully comes back fully healthy.
Should hit all of the incentives unless Kevin Stefanski doesn't run the ball for some reason.
That's Kevin we're talking about. Hassan Reddick to the Jets for a 26th third-round pick. Great pickup for them.
Great move.
Great defense gets even better. Tre'Davious White to the Rams, 1 year, $8 million.
Another good move.
Nice little prove-it deal after the injury.
Yeah, another good move.
Clowney to Carolina, 2 years, $20 million.
I don't like that.
A little overpaid.
I think so. Based on his injury proneness, it's his ankles too every time. And if there's anything I know about an edge, you're using those ankles.
But, peak position.
But
10
there's
mil a
also
year.
nobody on the other side.
Yeah, Burns is gone.
So now Jadeveon Clowney's getting double teamed.
Yeah, do you have to waste a double on Clowney?
And he was good on the Ravens because he wasn't being double teamed. He was good in Cleveland because he wasn't being double teamed after the injuries. So it's like, ugh. If you kept Burns, maybe not so bad. but you got rid of Burns too.
Maybe they draft somebody to supplement that.
Well, the other guy will look great. Nobody's going to double team a rookie.
Unless it's Nick Bosa, T.J. Watt, or something like that. Jordan Mailata extended by the Eagles, 3 years, 66. I think it's a great value there. Top 5 guard in the league. Then the big thing, really for the past 3 weeks, the Stephon Diggs trade to Houston.
Hate it.
When Houston only gave up a 25-second, they got Diggs and a 24 5th and 6th.
And the Bills are still eating his salary, and they changed it to a 1-year deal.
So as the resident Texans fan, what are your thoughts?
I just don't see why. Like, are you now making Tank Dell or Nico Collins the second option? You shouldn't. Maybe you're worried about how they bounce back, or what? Tank Dell was the one who got hurt pretty bad, right?
He missed the final 6-7 weeks.
So are you worried about how Tank Dell's going to bounce back, and you're going to make Nico Collins the 2 and Diggs the 1? If Diggs isn't the 1, it's going to cause locker room issues.
Well, I think it comes down to at the end of the season with the Texans last year, they lost so many receivers, they didn't have any at the end of the year when it came to the playoffs.
You never have too much depth.
No.
And if Diggs wasn't such a locker room cancer, I don't think it's as big a deal. And maybe D'Amico Ryans thinks he can figure that out. If he does act up,
I will say,
you're gone.
definitely not the best head coaches as far as keeping people at bay on Diggs' side. So maybe D'Amico's going to be able to be like, hey, cut the shit. But maybe not. Who knows?
And, C.J. Stroud, seemingly a great leader already, can hopefully kind of talk to Diggs like, yo, dude, we're building something here already. You're either in or you're not.
And you got Sketch on your team. I mean, Sketch was at their first practice with Stephon Diggs.
Was Texas not the youngest team in the league last year?
I believe they were.
By a significant margin, too.
Yeah, by 4+ years.
I mean, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, and you still make the playoffs?
Right. They're going to be dangerous.
Rookie leader of your defense who won Rookie of the Year.
When we look back 10 years from now, is there a better draft trade-up than what the Texans did there? With Stroud and Will Anderson back-to-back?
No, probably not. But, it just takes balls. I don't think anybody else has the balls to do it. Houston's like, what do we have to lose? We've been in the league for 20 years. We've done nothing. Might as well send out a Hail Mary, right?
If we do it and it fails, we win 4 games. Who cares? There's expectations anyway.
Exactly.
And now expectations are they're probably the second favorite in the AFC right now. Odds-wise.
And we've still got Cleveland's first-round picks for the next 30 years. So what are we really losing here?
And counting. There'll be some more moves made. Yeah, just an odd move. Out of the blue, too. I woke up a Tuesday morning and saw that, and I was like, am I dreaming? Is that a real thing?
Come on, guys. It's a Tuesday. We don't make trades on Tuesdays.
Not like this.
That's a Friday evening trade.
And now, who does Josh Allen throw to? Gabe Davis gone. Diggs gone. You're running
Isaiah McKenzie?
He's gone.
Is he?
He was gone last year.
Who
You got
am I
Khalil
thinking
Shakir
of?
and
Khalil Shakir.
2 tight ends.
Should be enough.
The old trick play, throw the ball to yourself.
He could do it. He's going to have to.
He'd overthrow it.
He's already been utilized as their only offensive piece, so them making him their only offensive piece doesn't really surprise me.
And who knows, maybe Josh said, hey, guys, let's get Stephon out of here. I'm sick of dealing with this guy. You never know.
Maybe.
Wasn't it in the playoff game where Stephon, or where him and Allen got into it, though?
Yeah, which time? It's been a routine thing.
Right.
Every time they lose in the playoffs.
Every game where Stephon Diggs has less than 25 receptions.
Takes his helmet off, throws it. And also look at the numbers from week 9 till the end of the season
Where
last
he was
year.
the most targeted receiver in the league, pretty
Diggs?
much.
No, he was not around at all.
Oh, it was the beginning where
Yeah,
he was still
first
complaining.
8 weeks, killed it, and still bitching, and then disappeared.
Hey, but dude, keep it up. You're just going to be cut out of the offense.
At this point, he's 30,
Give or take.
31.
I think with all the success they've had with other teams and rookie wide receivers over the last 2 years, like you have Rice with Kansas City, amazing. I think they're going to try to pull out some rookie wide receivers. I really do. There's some good talent this year in the draft.
With a QB loaded class, it's the best year to shoot for one.
And not to
Or
mention,
2.
probably the deepest wideout class in quite a while.
Absolutely.
Bill should definitely take a wideout first-round pick.
Maybe we get the old trade up for Marvin Harrison Jr.
That'd be steep. The Bills are 27th, 28th?
Hey, If that's what they feel they need is just the one piece, then I don't see why they wouldn't gun for it.
Who was originally drafting third? Do you recall?
So that pulled up.
It's because I know,
Is
I
it still
believe I've seen
Washington?
tonight, it's now New England. And my question is Marvin Harrison Jr. the reason for the trade, or is it J.J. McCarthy?
No, I think New England's been linked with
Drake May.
Drake May and Michael Penix.
I kind of think they're going to go with McCarthy, or I think they moved up to take Harrison away from Arizona.
McCarthy at 3.
Dude, after the combine, he shot up so high, so quick.
So McCarthy, he's ran I think it was a
He's projected-
4.48 40 at
He's
the
projected
combine.
top 10.
And, well, he also threw, I think it was 61 miles an hour,
Yeah.
which the only two people in the league right now who's throwing over 60 miles an hour is Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield.
So as a Michigan fan here, I do want
Baker
your opinion.
Mayfield.
Because watching McCarthy, I don't see anything like
stands
talent-wise,
out.
anything mind-blowing. But I think he's definitely like a Brock Purdy type where he makes good decisions.
Fundamentals,
He's
baby.
very smart.
So let me tell you this. A quarterback, you can be super athletic and a two-way runner, or you can throw it. But the biggest thing about a quarterback is you got to be able to manage the game, and that is exactly what he does, and he learned it from the best, and that is Jim Harbaugh.
And people say like, oh, he only threw 10 times a game. Well, it's not his fault.
That's
That
the
was their
system.
offense.
It's
Yeah.
the system. They
But
ran.
look at those 10 throws.
9 for 10,
They
2
were
tutties.
all good throws.
Super
They were all
efficient.
smart throws.
So
and
watching him all
if
year.
he had to run, he could run too.
Oh, just a deceptive speed.
Yeah. He looks lanky and slow, but he can move real quick.
So to the right system, if he does go to New England, if he goes to, I'm hearing a lot of talk about the Chargers.
Maybe. I mean, who knows what New England system's going to be moving forward.
He's probably going to be a top 10 pick.
I got him penciled in the top 3 now with the New England change. I think that's who they're going for. I really do.
Caleb for sure won. That's a pretty much foregone conclusion.
Yeah. I believe he already owns Chicago.
Should have a key to the city by now. Yeah. Commanders at 2. Got to think they go quarterback. And at that point, who is it? Is it Daniels? Is it May? Is it McCarthy at 2?
Could be.
I don't know.
Do you see a franchise quarterback in J.J. McCarthy?
Absolutely. I think he's, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the draft. I think the other guys have the better athletic talent. However, that only gets you through the first 2 to 3 years of the league. Look at Michael Vick. Whereas the game management of the clock
Look at Josh
and the game
Allen.
itself, exactly. Look at somebody like Tom Brady. He's a Michigan guy. JJ, I'm telling you,
TB12
Hard to argue that one.
2.0.
possibly better.
Because we've talked about Caleb on the show for months and months. I don't see it. I think he's a bust. Again, all the potential for days, all the athleticism, but I just don't think he has the tools to be a professional quarterback.
I don't think he has the tools in Chicago.
I think this too. You know, you have Caleb Williams, great. I think he's possibly the top talent for the top of the draft on a physical specimen scale. But when it comes down to what some of these coaches look for as far as managing the game and being able to, hey, I don't need to throw it 30 times a game, that takes a lot of commitment to not throw it 20, 30 times a game when you're a quarterback.
I think JJ in a good system is definitely a pro quarterback. Going to a bad team is tough for anybody, especially when you lack some of the crazy athletic talent. But if he goes to, like New England, where he's not going to be expected to be an absolute, all-pro guy from day one. That's a big thing, too. We used to have guys that would get drafted. Like, look at Jordan Love. Sat for 2 years.
Behind the most talented quarterback of all time.
Without a doubt. And now he's probably already a top 10 guy at least, if not higher.
And it's amazing. If you look at a side-by-side of Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love, throwing motions, movement in the pocket, footwork, everything is the exact same.
Has any franchise been luckier, period?
It's just smart. Why start my rookie when I still have my guy?
And that's the paradox. The teams that take top quarterbacks are inherently bad teams.
And it's like the overreaction from Jordan Love being drafted was, oh, are they getting rid of Aaron Rodgers then? Why did they draft a quarterback? And it's like, no, because this is when you draft a quarterback. You have 2 years left on your guy who's turning 40 in a contract. You're probably not re-signing him.
Do you want to wait until he's gone and then put a rookie in there day one?
That makes you the Bears.
Clearly.
Bingo.
Even if Williams is a hit, there's still 4 or 5 years away from developing a quality team all the way around him.
Yeah, I was going to say, not everybody can get lucky like Houston. Not every rookie quarterback's going to be C.J. Stroud.
And the problem is teams are going to see that and think, oh, we can do that too now.
Exactly.
And that's a kind of a lightning in a bottle sort of thing.
Not every rookie quarterback's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Not every rookie quarterback's going to be Joe Burrow. I mean,
Mahomes didn't start year one either.
Exactly. But he started still relatively, he didn't sit for long. And there wasn't really anybody to sit behind.
No, he was year 2 behind Alex Smith and then took over with, again, probably the best system to take over in. I think any quarterback from that draft would have succeeded, not to Mahomes' level, but would have succeeded. I don't know, man. The draft is what? Next week? Next Thursday, I think?
2 weeks?
I think so, yeah. Right around sometime.
I'm pretty sure it's next Thursday.
It's usually mid-April.
It's like 8 days.
It's going to be a crazy night one.
What are you hoping the Bengals do in the draft? I'm hearing a lot of talk of Brock Bowers, which I think is a great player. I don't know if you necessarily need that right now.
Another tight end?
Well, the issues with the Bengals is they need a lot. I'll be the first to admit that right now, and mostly on defense. So I hope they go that direction on the side of the ball. Defense.
They've been great at drafting defense, too.
Yeah.
And they don't sign their guys when their rookie deals are up, so it seems like that's what they were setting in motion. Was, we're just going to be like the Patriots and just draft defense. We've got Brady. What else do we need?
That's kind of the way things have been here the past 10 years. Once you get your quarterback, ideally on a rookie deal, you build up defense around him, pay a guy or two, and then keep building up young talent.
Yeah, pay the staples.
Spaces. Get a strong left tackle, good edge rusher, maybe a lockdown corner. Hopefully your coaching staff is solid. That's really the main thing. And let your guy, for his first 4 years, so you got to pay him, sling the rock. What do the Brownies do? They have, what, a third-round pick?
Yep, probably. Hey, you get another guy like Cedric Tillman. Get another wide receiver, too, from a talented team.
He came in really handy last year. Yeah,
I think he was when he played. The guy's got glue for hands.
Underutilized.
But he's big, he's athletic, he's fast, he's a good route runner. He's going to be good. But if you get a year or two to sit behind Amari Cooper, I'll take that. But get another guy they get Washington's second receiver. They just get another number 2. How good was Jalen Hyatt last year? I don't even think he saw the field.
Again, underutilized. Dallas hopefully goes either linebacker or O-line. Can never have too much depth on the O-line.
Running back.
We'll get a we'll get a
the
third
air?
round running back.
Thought you guys were getting Zeke back.
Look, for 10 carries a game on the goal line, I don't hate it. But he's not a starting back anymore. It's not 2015.
Come on now. That's Ezekiel Elliott. He's got to start.
Do we bring back Zeke and Dalvin Cook? Like this Ben mentioned.
That's not a bad split backfield. Neither of them are full-time carriers.
Yeah, but neither are good first down carriers.
Deuce Vaughn, first down. Right up the middle.
Do you trust Mike McCarthy to utilize 5'6" Deuce Vaughn?
Right up the middle, buddy.
Of course not.
He's a bulldog. Right up the middle.
Yeah, you know what? He might be. You can only hope. We mentioned the Nick Chubb signing. Devontae Smith, 3 years, $75 million. Like that for the Eagles. The other Josh Allen in Jacksonville, 5 years, $150, $88 guaranteed. And then DeForest Buckner, 2 years, $46. Now, rule change-wise, do you like the kickoff change here? Going to the, USFL kickoff rule?
Yeah, so what is it? Nobody can move until the receiving team catches the ball?
Yeah.
And they all line up head-to-head?
Correct.
I like it. I think it's going to make for a lot of entertaining kick returns. And probably good for safety as well.
Yeah, I think, the main thing is we will have kick returns. Because we hunt, 2 a game? Every kick's a touchback, pretty much. And hopefully, should eliminate some injuries here. But as a guy that watched a lot more football than we have in your
we're gonna
lifetime,
remove some hits too.
Yeah. How do we feel about that as a more old school guy than we are?
A few of the rule changes I'm not agreeing with. I think it might as well just be flag football at this point.
Such as the other rule change, the hip drop tackle.
100%.
So they did put some clarity on that, so it's not as cut and dry as the headlines made it seem. You only get penalized if you land on the other player's legs.
It's football. It's a contact sport. They do realize this.
I agree. But I do think they said what? Based on analytics, it's one time a game was the average.
From the NFL's data, attack like that happens one time a game.
Where they actually land on the legs.
Correct.
And the injuries we saw, Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst, not Hayden Hurst, but Mark Andrews. They were both drafted by the Ravens, so I get them confused sometimes. But that was because the linebacker landed on his legs. So the other 30 times it happens in the game isn't a big deal. Now, do I trust the referees to call that correctly every time? Absolutely not. I think there will be some hip drop tackles that didn't land on the legs in a tight game that is maybe a close call? I don't know how it'd be a close call, but
the first time Travis Kelce gets tackled 2 yards short of the fourth down, they're going to call it and give the Chiefs the ball, and they're going to score to win the game. And then for the next 3 days, it's all social media is going to be talking about.
Now, I will say it is setting up the refs to be in even worse situations.
And that happens with every rule change every year.
But
I can say as a prior official for the Ohio High School Athletic Association, all the rule changes always have to do with trying to keep the players safe. That's generally when we would have the meetings year round, and we're just trying to keep the players safe. I think the NFL has way overdone it, in my opinion, to the point where if they keep trying to keep the players so safe, it just may as well be flag football and reduce their pay, because I'm not seeing what I normally would watch and see in, say, the 80s, 90s, 2000s.
It's player safety, and it's such a offense drives the game, right? Offense makes
drives
money.
the ratings.
Offense drives the ratings. We want to have as much points as possible.
I think it depends. I really do, because I remember Steve Atwater laying hits on Christian Okoye, that offense, up until that point.
No, I
Correct.
think your serious watcher loves defense. Your casual
defensive highlights
wants a 45-42
also
game.
drive ratings.
Absolutely.
Because guys that want to see 42 points a game want to see Ray Lewis destroy whatever running back goes up the middle.
We used to have Jacked Up, right? Probably the best segment of NFL Countdown.
Absolutely.
When was the last time you saw that? Every great hit, you're like, oh, and then you got to wait for a flag to come in. And there's 15, and they're moving the ball still. That kind of sucks.
Agreed.
And I get, of course, you want to keep your guys safe. But there's a give and take,
But offense drives every sport. That's why baseball made the pitch
Across
clock
the board.
and the stealing easier.
Well, pitch clock was more for speed of the game, which I get, and I love that. I think
Which
it's a
also
great
drives ratings.
Rule change.
But and the what's the new one, or not new, but one they're enforcing more,
shift
the
change
obstruction.
now the obstruction thing is, I don't like that much at all.
But it makes it easier to steal bases, and everybody loves when their guy steals a base.
I think a lot of it also has to do with just our overall shorter attention spans and social media highlight
TikTok rotted brains
culture.
Yes.
A lot of people don't watch games from beginning to end anymore.
It's highlights.
Red zone. That's all red zone is.
And I'm guilty of that too. Like,
so am I. Red zone's the best way to watch football.
Every Sunday at 1 o'clock, unless it's Dallas, I'm turning on Red Zone.
I will say, I mainly watch Red Zone so I can see every game.
The big plays of every game.
The best part.
Yeah. I'll have the Browns game on a TV, and then I'll have Red Zone on the other TV. But I need to know what happens in every game. I didn't watch Red Zone until we started the show.
Really?
Yes.
It's a big fantasy thing too.
I don't.
Any touchdown scored, I'm like, oh, do I have that guy? Am I going against that guy?
I check fantasy at halftime of the first roll of games, and then I'll check at the beginning of the night game. That's it.
So you're an amateur. Because a lot of guys look at their phone more so than the actual TV.
What do I need to do that for?
You don't, but it's such an addiction people have.
Yeah, it's not being an amateur. If anything, I'm a professional.
Watch the film.
I do.
Which, I'm not talking to you directly, but you're a casual fan out there. Actually watch games, dude.
Absolutely.
Greg, favorite NFL player of all time?
Can I do offense and defense?
Absolutely.
That's
Give us even your Mount Rushmore.
Oh my goodness, no. Probably if I had to pick just one football player of all time, it'd be Bo Jackson.
Highlight machine.
He would, and regardless of what sport, baseball, football, he was it.
The biggest what if, right?
If
he would have stuck to one, what would have happened?
What if would have been healthy?
Yeah,
he could have kept playing both.
If he could have kept playing both, I think Hall of Famer, both sports. As far as the NFL, he probably would have all the rushing records, hands down.
If he would have played long enough.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
honestly, a better baseball player than he was a football player.
Austin did have Bo Jackson as one of his most overrated players.
Oh, yeah?
Simply because of what could have been as compared to what was. And again, I think
From the football standpoint is how he spun it.
he only
but-
played like 4
yeah.
years, and was great in those 4 years, but just wasn't enough.
So-
All-time great athlete, without a doubt, Mount Rushmore. All-time great running back.
The Boz. We'll just say that play, the Boz. The Boz was one of the top defensive players to get drafted.
One of the best highlights of all time.
And talked the most stuff about how overrated Bo Jackson was. And then Bo Jackson ran him over to go into the end zone
Easily.
at home.
All-timer. What about a defensive player? You got one of those?
Definitely like Steve Atwater, just for the hit from Christian Okoye. Hands down. one of
Another
the best.
all-time great
And a
highlight.
hard guy to hit, too.
Oh, yeah.
Christian Okoye was a giant.
And until Steve Atwater, nobody wanted to hit him. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't want to run at Ray Lewis, but
I
Steve
actually got to
Atwater
see him play
probably
in
would have done
person.
that.
I saw him play in person against the Browns, and when he came out of the tunnel, I was like, the Browns don't have a chance.
Did we win?
The Browns won.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I saw Colts Browns in Indy last year when Myles Garrett dominated. And same thing, you're like, when you see Myles Garrett
when he
in person,
jumped over an offensive line and
You're like-
blocked a field goal.
Yeah.
how does the opposing offensive line have any hope? Seeing this guy right across from you every
And the
play.
fact is, like, you could be in the very top seat on the other side of the tunnel where he's going to come out, and you look down and you're like, that is a giant amongst
It's a terrifying
children.
man.
Like
And
it,
I kind of miss having terrifying linebacker. Like,
Lawrence
like
Taylor.
Ray Lewis.
who's the last guy you were scared to go across the middle against? Probably Ray Lewis, right?
Maybe
Brian
maybe
Urlacher.
Patrick Willis.
Same era.
Yeah.
Willis a little bit later. Yeah,
Maybe
underrated.
Kuechly,
Not really known as like a hard hitter. He was more sideline to sideline kind of guy.
but you were getting
Could lay the
tackled.
lumber for sure.
You were getting tackled no
but
matter
now,
what.
like, I think all of our freaks are pass rushers. Edge
Well, they're
rushers.
all. I mean, look at Micah. He's a linebacker, but they're just like, hey, dude, you're really good at running at the quarterback. We're just gonna have you do that instead.
You look at like Fred Warner now.
Probably a scary guy to run
Even
into
Drake
in the
Greenlaw,
open field.
like Devin White. Because you've kind of taken away those open field shots.
Well, you got to think. I mean, the guys that we're talking about are guys who are Myles Garrett's size and build.
Just different position. Yeah.
They just played linebacker instead of edge rusher. I mean, Myles Garrett could have played linebacker. He ran a 4.6
easily.
or a 4.8.
That's pretty much what the defensive end position is now, is just linebacker with a bigger size.
And you're rushing, what, 60% of your snaps?
In
Garrett's probably a lot higher.
some
but
cases,
the
yeah.
usual.
Your guys like T.J. Watt,
Yeah.
Micah is probably 60%.
I wish we could utilize Micah to his full potential, which I really don't
Like
even know
he
what that
did
is.
his rookie year.
Honestly, if he should rush all the time, if he should play
His
linebacker.
rookie year was his full potential. He was a field general and edge rusher. You need to use him like the Steelers used T.J. Watt.
Steelers is
Yeah.
a crazy team to watch out for this year, though.
Yeah.
We say that every year.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit different this year.
I have no clue. Just because of the question mark at quarterback
It's not a question mark.
That
dude.
ain't, that's an exclamation mark, in my opinion.
with Russ.
Yeah, either. And Justin Fields?
Yeah. I
Kidding
think
me? There's
Justin
no
Fields,
wrong answer.
He was starting to come on near the end of the season with the Bears. He got the team going in the right direction. For the line that he had, the system that he had, he was guessing himself. I think you bring in Russell Wilson, put Fields behind him, give him a year to learn, and relax.
Because
And just
Russell
be
Wilson's
natural.
on a 1-year rental.
Yep. That's all you need him for. And Justin Fields is the future
And then maybe
for Pittsburgh.
this might be crazy, but you draft an actually talented wide receiver? Maybe.
Whoa, wait! You can do that?
Maybe.
They already have George Pickens.
And that's all they have now.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the other thing. Do you really want to – if there's a guy that's going to throw to no receivers, it needs to be Russell Wilson. Because I think he could throw the ball to anybody.
Effectively, yeah.
And I don't know if Justin Fields is at that point yet.
Well, the important part, right, is Wilson can run, Fields can run.
Bingo.
There
Because
should be
Najee
some.
Harris can't run.
There should be some cool dual sets. I hope when they're both on the field same time.
Maybe a
Justin
little
Fields
wildcat
hands
action.
the ball off to Russell
don't hate it.
Wilson.
Yeah,
Have one of them line up as a receiver.
but do you trust Arthur Smith to
No.
had those kind of creative play calls.
Just another fall guy for Mike Tomlin.
Wasn't it Tomlin who did when he brought Michael Vick in? They did the Wildcat again.
They did. They did it with RG3 too, I think.
Very
Yeah.
briefly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
Vic for
surprised
sure.
if we don't see that again.
They should. And they got them both.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit Fields until Russ gets hurt or something. You got to use him some.
A little bit. He's too athletic.
And we are notorious Fields defenders on this show. I think he gets way too much hate because of, like you said, the situation he was in.
you're a Chicago Bear, dude. The expectation is 0. The expectation is Jay Cutler. Like, that's the best Bears quarterback of all time.
As far as drafted?
As far as performance.
McMahon more
Maybe-
successful.
McMahon
Maybe
was-
not of
yeah.
all time, but he's their leading in every quarterback stat.
I would say if I think of a Bears quarterback, it's hands down Jim McMahon.
And success-wise, for sure. I think Cutler had better arm talent, but clearly not a winner. The wrong mentality.
Yeah, you saw it in the beginning of the season where he's talking down to coaches, where he second-guessed himself,
Oh, yeah,
and he
didn't
talked
care.
about, well, maybe it's the coach. Somebody asked in the media, is it the coaching? And he's like, maybe. And you're right then.
So I'm not sure. I might not be talented, but these coaches stink.
Which you can't have your field general saying stuff like that.
Which is also probably not inaccurate either.
No, Bears coaching is notoriously bad, but you got to take some blame yourself, you know. Let's see, Greg, you a bracket guy? You a tournament guy?
I didn't do the bracket this year.
Did you follow it all?
The only thing I honestly followed was Caitlin Clark.
Dude, the women's tournament the past
So
couple
much
years
better.
has been just as fun, if not better, than the men's.
And she got drafted first today, Indiana.
As expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy
I will
as
say
them.
the one bright spot of the men's was DJ Burns.
God, love that dude.
Was expecting more from that DJ Burns versus Zach Edey, but Zach Edey just absolutely obliterated with his baby hooks and nothing else.
And you can't defend that
No, you can't.
unless you're, oh God, what's the Klingman from UConn.
As he's 7'8".
7'3".
There
Or
you
7'2",
go.
and super athletic.
Yeah, you have to be the same size. There's no amount of athleticism that can really defend that unless you're 7 foot or have gigantic arms like Giannis.
Because again, DJ played it perfectly, but
Did everything he could.
even got him outside of the block. Didn't matter. But the women's side, I did predict, which was the chalk answer, South Carolina against Iowa in the title. Was hoping Iowa would win, but South Carolina undefeated. Iowa losing back-to-back national titles. Hurts to see, but hopefully I'm at least going to follow WNBA now to a closer ability. Am I going to watch every game?
Especially with
No.
everybody that came out of the draft in for the WNBA
That's
draft.
the thing. The women's tourney had star power on every team. Like, we knew Paige Beckers. We knew Caitlin. We knew Angel Reese. We knew Cameron Brink. Juju Watkins. Like, 5 years ago,
Studs.
you couldn't name probably, besides anybody on UConn, any other player in women's college basketball.
Yeah.
Whereas now, you can almost name more stars in women's than you can men's. Which I think is also an aspect of the transfer portal and players moving every single year to new teams or leaving
And
early.
going where you make the most money.
And there's more stability in the women's game, which I think in turn leads to more fundamental basketball, more team-centric basketball, which is more fun to watch.
But yeah, my brackets sucked. I think I was out after the first round, like the first 3 games. I was like, yeah, this is chalked.
So I picked Auburn to win. I gave out my reasoning, which of course never matters come March. They lost opening weekend.
Yeah.
The first game I watched, we went to Elsa's Sports Bar. They were
Yep.
playing Yale, of course lose. They got like 5 straight offensive boards the last possession, couldn't score. So that I was gone pretty much off the bat. My other Final Four pick, St. Mary's, lost first round. And then your boys against Oakland and a legend whose name I already forgot. Jack something.
Jack Grekel or something like that.
The three-point shooter.
Who
Yeah.
shot what? 2?
9?
Well, in that game, yeah, I think he had
Yeah.
like what
10.
10 or 11.
Like 10 to 15.
But the whole season only took 2 shots that weren't 3-pointers.
Yeah. And, like, I've watched that game, and I'm like, okay, you can't play better defense than that. You couldn't have defended that shot better. He's just making them. And
In
it's
March,
like
that's
you
what
could
happens.
you could yell at whoever you want to yell at, but they can't defend. What are they supposed to do? Block the shot?
Magically.
Like they were in his face. Now there were some where it's like, okay, you could have slipped that screen a little better. You could have hedged that screen, some of that stuff. But that's in every game and every team. But I think that's one thing that Kentucky does do better than, or did do, probably not anymore, but they did do better than most was fundamental defense. But that's not going to happen now because we lost every single 5-star, probably 4-star and 3-star we recruited.
And why was that?
Because Kentucky fans finally drove Calipari out. So congratulations, Arkansas, for having the new most NBA players coming out of college. Because it's no longer Kentucky.
You guys brought in BYU's head coach. Expectations come next year. You said, quote, miss the tournament.
I did say that, and I'll stand by that.
With the talent leaving already, I'm inclined to agree. Yeah.
It's going to be a couple years before he can build a recruiting class, if he can build a recruiting class. People want to play for Calipari because that means they go to the NBA. They don't. I've tried to explain this, but people who are Kentucky fans are just Kentucky fans. And it's like these players aren't playing to win a national championship for you. They're playing for their livelihood to go to the NBA.
Lottery pick. What's the lottery pick deal in the NBA?
Good.
50 mil off the bat?
Probably. I don't know.
Do you want to win a title in college, or do you want to go play 1 year and then get drafted and have your whole life set from here on out, and your grandchildren set?
Yeah. It's a no-brainer.
As an 18-year-old kid, absolutely. Which, again, I think is bad for college basketball, but I can't hold it against these players. Like, you open up the NIL thing, open up transfer portals, you got to do what's best for you.
And they're changing the transfer portals where you can be eligible for, like, the next game.
Which I think you should be.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's like now, we thought the transfer portal was bad this year. Whew, wait till that rule goes into effect. Dude's going to get 3 looks, and then he's like, yep, I'm going to Oakland. Peace.
I'll be there next week. But UConn, back-to-back champs, another dominant run. No game closer than like 10 points. Probably the most dominant run we've seen since, I guess, the back-to-back Florida team in 07-08, right?
I think that was the last time it's been one back-to-back.
But definitely better than that because no game was even competitive.
No.
Bama had it close in like the second half within like 8 points, and that was as close as it got. Purdue comes up short yet again, but at least got by the biggest upset of all time last year.
Yeah.
Made the title game. Zach Edey put up in the regional 31-16, second straight AP Player of the Year award. Put up 41 in the title game. But great game plan from UConn. Let Edey score, and we'll stop everybody else. He can't win by himself, right? He's only shooting 2s.
Yep.
And only so many free throws you can make, right? My only positive bracket-wise was NC State. Had them going Elite 8. They went Final 4. Outside of that, I ripped it up that first day.
Yeah. And your boy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robbie Avila, did hit the transfer portal. Although you did say he was a loyal guy and he was going to stay put.
Well, money talks.
Because the first question I asked you when they won the NIT was, where's he going?
They lost to
I thought they won.
Seton Hall. They went to the championship game, and they lost to Seton Hall.
Gotcha. Okay. Maybe I...
But same thing, like their coach left, and their entire starting, I think their top 7 dudes in minutes all transferred.
I think the sad part is we're not going to hear about loyalty in sports when it comes to college over the next 5 years after this.
Yeah, which I love college ball, but it's tough to, even like my Buckeyes, who aren't like a top perennial contender, like you can't keep a team together.
It could be.
I think they will be soon. I love Diebler.
Change.
We got a Kentucky transfer.
It's a good step.
There was talks of Bronny James coming in, assuming he does not get drafted, which he shouldn't.
He shouldn't, but I think
if you ask Skip Bayless says he's NBA ready.
Well, I saw Cowherd also said, like, looking at the 56th pick who's projected is a dude from Clemson who put up like 13-7 last year. He's like, oh, his scouting report said he's a great screen setter. Why take him when you could take Bronny and then bring Bron in? Or I think that pick was for the Lakers, where Lakers can bring in Bronny. Is that a circus that you want?
Just to run the gimmick?
I don't want him to come to Ohio State. I know that.
no.
We don't need that media circus.
Maybe
He might be a decent player.
Maybe you do. Maybe that'll catapult Ohio State's basketball program to where it needs to be.
I don't think we need that. I think our team's good enough as it is with a new coach. Are we going to be a Final Four team? No.
Could
Sweet
be.
16? I'm not going to bet against it.
Could be. If you got Bronny.
Are you a Michigan basketball guy as well? Or just the
They're
gridiron?
usually pretty decent.
Yeah, I do follow Michigan basketball. Sad what happened with Juwan Howard.
Yeah, rough year with that.
Yeah. Obviously, the last few years haven't been good. Even his whole tenure really hasn't been good.
Definitely underachieved.
Yeah.
Yeah, them at Michigan State kind of fell off pretty quick.
I think once there was the incident in the game where he was choking with the other coach, and
Yeah.
that was the road
kind
right
of the
there.
all downhill from there.
Yeah. So
Gotta miss John Bayline.
I miss Fisher back in the '90s when
Yeah.
he brought the Fab Five in.
Of course. How could you not?
And Beeline was really good. I liked his style of offense. Hopefully, we get a good coach that brings in something different.
I'll never forget Spike Albrecht going off for like 20 points in the national title against Louisville. A guy that put up like 8 points a game for the season. Little goofy white kid named Spike. And he comes in and lights it up.
He's got a dog's name, dude.
And he played like a dog.
Exactly.
I want to talk baseball, Greg. You found a little ball there, right?
A little bit.
Little red legs.
Blue Jays suck.
Yeah, go from there so far. As you're I know you love Chris Bassett a lot.
Yeah, everybody's hitting like 200.
What's the deal
if
there?
Not worse.
Offense was supposed to be
That's the problem. Hitting has been horrible for them.
across the board.
Yeah, they're like even Vladdy's not hitting great. Bo Bichette's not hitting great. Kiermaier was hitting 0.97.
Now, he's a defensive player, not known for his offense.
0.97.
I
I
think-
could hit better than that.
Okay. Let's not get wild here.
0.97.
That's tough to do.
It's harder to do that than to hit 100.
Mathematically, maybe.
But he did get it up to like 168.
So he's improving.
So
He's on the upswing.
I
He's
hope
getting
that-
hot.
I hope that's not the upswing.
See, red legs wise, I like it a lot. I expected maybe a wild card this year. Again, super young team. We're up. Actually, we're down 3-1 right now in Seattle. Lost last night badly. But overall, I think rotation could be scary. A lot of young talent there. Lodolo came back for the first time in over a year through 6 great innings, granted against the worst offense. Maybe the past 100 years. First team to get shut out in 6 of their first 13 games in the White Sox since the 1902 Brooklyn Super Bars, I think they were called, which of course existed for probably 1 year. But love Ellie. It sucks losing McClain and Friedel for a while, but so much young talent there. Future's bright. I'm excited. The most excited I've been since the 2012 playoff team.
De La Cruz last year when he came out, that right there re-energized my love for baseball.
Dude, that June was the happiest I've been as a baseball fan probably my entire life.
And games are so much easier to watch now. So much more fast-paced.
You're going at 2.5 hours pretty much every game.
It's a lot easier to watch on TV at least. But the Blue Jays really aren't doing that bad. 10-8, and we just went up. We beat the Yankees tonight. Beat the Yankees last night.
They won the series there, right? Yeah.
No, we play one more, but
Oh, 4-game set?
now we're at 3. This is their second.
Oh, they
Against
put a
the
Monday,
Yankees
Tuesday,
already.
Wednesday series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can sweep the series.
Against the best record in baseball right now? Yeah, it'd be nice. A 5-4 late inning win.
Then we got the Padres, which if they're on, it's scary.
NL West is scary in general.
And we go to San Diego. So,
Top 3 ballpark in baseball.
yeah.
One thing we got to mention is how does umpiring keep getting worse? Specifically, the beloved Angel Hernandez.
I think it's hilarious.
It is, but we don't need it.
Because you can see it coming. That's the thing. The batter starts yelling at him. Oh, that batter strike zone just got a little bigger. Okay.
A little bigger. Like
Hang
a
on.
foot and a half.
It's a buildup. It's a buildup. The batter starts yelling at him, okay. He's like, okay, we're going to expand that about 6 inches. Then the manager starts yelling at him, and he's like, okay, now you just got 6 inches on your whole team. Then the crowd starts getting involved, and he's like, here we go. Strike zone's endless.
Every pitch is a strike.
Congratulations, dummies.
Now, I'm an old school baseball traditionalist, but I am in favor of the electronic strike zone. Greg, your thoughts on that? Would it be good for the game? Would it take out the human element and some of the charm of baseball?
I think it removes some of the charm because the way baseball officiating is always it's the one unique sport that every single call is a judgment call as an official.
Which I both love and hate. Because, of course, when your guy strikes out on a pitch that's clearly a ball,
I will
you
say
lose your
also,
stuff.
But at the same
part of
time,
the
when
game.
when you're at a game, whether it's the Reds, the Braves, the Phillies, or whoever, there's that moment where you can hate the umpire. Hate's a strong word, but that's baseball.
It's fitting. There's
And
nothing
then
more
there's
fun
also
than
that
yelling at the
moment
ump.
tomorrow where you can love the umpire.
Right.
And also, how much of the catcher's job gets taken away if you go electronic strike zones?
Significant. Framing doesn't matter at all anymore.
Right.
So it's like now anybody can catch.
But I think it's all a judgment call just because you have different batter stances. You can't really electronically regulate and say, well, this is where that pitch zone should have been.
And all the batter sizes, stances,
Right.
where they're at in the box.
There's a lot of variables.
I know they've done it, but it's how accurate is that to Aaron Judge?
I think the best way is to have the umpire still have the human judgment call. I think they're better than electronics going to be because each human's different size, different stance, different left or right batter. It's just going to be the difference of the pitchers with the umpire.
And home plate umpiring, like as much as we like to make fun of it, is extremely hard.
It's not easy.
Sit behind the plate and watch a 100-mile fastball go by and try to call it accurately.
And then you look at where the catcher's glove is after he just did a beautiful frame job.
And now when guys throw a slider that moves 2 feet and crosses the plate as a strike, but is caught 6 inches outside, looks like a ball, how do you call that? I think the best method is keep human umps, but give a challenge system. Maybe 3 pitches a game you can challenge and go to a electronic kind of thing. I think it involves strategy. Do you want to challenge a pitch in the second inning on a 2-1 count, or do you want to save that until it's late innings and it's a full count or a 2-strike count?
I think it takes away from the beauty of the game because that's just part of the flow of baseball. You don't want to interrupt that flow.
Plus, like if they go full electronic, there'll still be an ump behind the plate, but you know he's not doing anything.
Yeah,
He's just
be
clicking
for
a button.
show.
Getting lazier.
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah.
Be like the royal family in England.
I don't have to
It's like,
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So as much as you want to say every call should be right, I think baseball is the one sport where,
That's just not true.
look, we've been doing this for 160 years now. I'm cool with not having one thing be replayable or be perfect every single time.
I think if they fired Aaron or Angel Hernandez, I think everybody would be fine.
That's a nice start to compromise with. Yeah.
Like, don't go electronic, just get rid of him. Maybe make him a first base umpire or third base to call bat swings. He probably wouldn't be great at that either, but it happens a lot less.
We'll go over my award picks and division winners, which I made last week, but again, of course, we did not record. We're going to go with division winners, the Orioles in the AL East, the Twins in the Central, and I got the Mariners off to a very rough start, a.k.a. the West Coast Redlegs in the West.
Just
National
the
League,
Red Legs.
not as much anymore. I didn't want to jinx it, so I took the Cubbies, but I hope the Redlegs, of course, pull it off. And then Braves of Dodgers, heavy favorites. Wild cards will be the Rangers, Yankees, and Stros in the AL, and D-backs, Phillies, Giants in the NL again. Hopefully, Reds get a wild card. Didn't want to jinx it, thanks to our own Drew Fisher.
No Blue Jays.
Tough division, man.
It is.
Very tough.
Holding their own in that division, though.
Yeah, I know the Blue Jays in fifth place, or not. At the time, Blue Jays in fifth place had the same record as the first place Rangers
They're also
in the West.
4-1 against the Yankees.
Which, yeah, that's going to be murderer's row all year in that division.
So,
MVPs, I'm going Mookie Betts and Yordan Alvarez. Cy Youngs, already wrong. I picked Strider, who, of course, is out for the year already. And Luis Castillo, who's
that's
0-4.
voided. You can pick a new one.
It's early enough, right?
Yeah.
We'll change that up.
Chris Bassett.
Long shot. Definitely a long shot.
Manoah, if he ever gets called back up.
Yeah, he's not even alive anymore. Did he ever even exist in the first place?
Who knows?
And then rookies going Jackson Holiday and Baltimore, who continue to put up great rookie young
He's
talent.
a beast.
And Shoto Imanaga, Cubbies pitcher, who has not yet given up a run in through 3
Not
starts.
Yamamoto?
Too obvious. I think it's too obvious. I want to try to mix it up a
He
little
had a
bit.
real rough outing to start out, but he's kind of honed it in since.
Past 2 starts, solid. Yeah, I think he actually goes tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe tomorrow. That's all I got for baseball. I want to take 5 here. Come back, NBA, UFC, maybe get Greg out of here. We're getting late. Episode 80 of SNS back after this.
Well,
all right. You can't point at me and I point at you.
Well, I pointed at you because that's my cue that we're on. But you were pointing at me, so I just rolled with it.
I don't need a cue because you're hitting the button and you're starting off. Either way, take it away.
It's just a habit.
Take it away.
Welcome back. Greg is going to get out of here right after he does a final promotion of Tip Top and their event coming up with Jonas and Blackbird Cigars.
Yes, you definitely want to stop out. Springfield, Ohio, 3471 East National Road. If you don't have your tickets yet, go to tiptopsmoke.com. We have a link at the top of the page where it takes you to Eventbrite. You can buy the ticket online. If you buy the ticket online before the event, you are entered in a chance to win the Grackle, which will be our short-run limited cigar released this fall. On April 27th, Jonas Santana will have the Grackle and be doing a component taste testing with some rum at our event. Also, we'll be doing some raffles, giveaways, door prizes. There's quite a bit out there with some great deals on all the cigars we carry.
Bring a lawn chair.
We do have plenty of chairs. I believe we have about 80 chairs, roughly. We do have more chairs than last year. Last year we didn't have very many, and we also do have more tables. They're going to be round, so people can actually kind of get around each other. I would say if you want to be comfy in your own chair, I'd bring your own chair.
Or just in case. Have it on hand if need be.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't hurt to put it in your trunk. But definitely Jonas Santana, Can't Clip My Wings, Blackbird, April 27th, 12 to 5. You want to be there and not miss this.
SNS will be there, both of us. Thank you, Greg, for not just the appearance, but the knowledge, the openness to come on the show again. Glad to have you. These sticks, of course. Blackbird, I can't wait to see them really take off and flap those wings into an industry leader. I think they very well will be in the near future.
Thank you. I'm very thankful to be here. Thank you, guys.
And of course, we'll post all the info with the episode when it goes live Thursday at noon, as always. And then we'll see you next Saturday, brother. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. We greatly appreciate it.
And now we move on to the NBA.
Western play-in, round 1, done tonight. Lakers beat the Pelicans 110-106, and Kings beat the Warriors 118-94.
So the Lakers are the 7th seed, and the Kings and Pelicans will play for the 8th seed. Right now, it's Clippers versus Mavs, Timberwolves versus Suns, and Nuggets versus Lakers.
Before the actual playoff predictions and all that jazz, it's a nice old-timey saying. It's been a while for one of those, right? Regular season notes, Giannis, 6th straight year with 30 points, new record. His most efficient season yet. And we got to go over Wemby, right? Did he exceed your expectations?
Yes.
Let me pull some stats up here. Victor Wembanyama ends his first season as the first rookie in NBA history with 1,500 points, 250 assists, and 250 blocks. Only 4 players ever have reached those numbers at any point in their careers. Kareem, Hakeem, David Robinson, and now Victor Wembanyama.
My question marks are still the same, and it's shooting percentage.
My main question mark was durability, and he played the entire season.
He did.
Which shocked me.
No injuries.
I'll eat crow on that one. But percentage-wise, definitely made an increase second half of the season.
But, I mean, yes, everything else is good. The blocks I expected.
He has to block 4 shots a game.
Yeah, like, if you watch him, it's not that he's holding his own.
Although he can.
He's just long enough where you can't get over top of him.
Or you're shooting shots you think are clearly open, and he comes out of nowhere and blocks it.
Correct. But finished the regular season with 32% from 3. It's not great.
Again, close strong, though. And I think the past 2 months is like pull up from 3 was like damn near 50%. Which we mentioned, I don't know if you want Victor shooting pull-up threes, but at that efficiency, I mean, numbers back it up. You could do worse.
Let me click on his attempts real quick.
Probably shooting, 4 a game? 3 a game?
So he took a total of 394 and made 128. So he shot 5.5 a game. That's a lot.
Too much, I think, for his play style.
I think they need to drop that down to the 3 mark.
But also a personnel thing. I mean, he's their best shooter, unfortunately. So,
but his 2-point efficiency is solid, 46.5. He's not taking a lot of paint shots, so that's why it's not Joel Embiid's 60%.
But again, should improve come upcoming seasons.
But he's offensively like Kevin Durant. That's how he plays. I don't think that's the best way for him to play. I think he needs to be more like a Jokic or a Joel Embiid, where, sure, you're going to be able to take these shots, but you don't need to be in control of the ball.
And again, probably also a personnel thing.
Oh, definitely. But just some improvements that I would like to see moving forward. That's all. But, yeah, really good rookie year. My question marks remain the same. Is he going to be this 40% 3-point shooter like he's supposed to be? Is he going to be this 30 million points a game? I don't see it, and I don't see the Spurs being any good in the next for his best years.
You're talking about the best run organization in basketball.
Sure.
They're going to build a team around him. It might take 3 years.
Guys like Wemby don't have 10 years in them. I'd be shocked.
I was shocked he made it through the whole first year. Now look, if he breaks his ankle week 1 next year, that wouldn't shock me either. But I think you kind of have your unicorn guy right now. It's just a matter of finding probably a star point guard and then some role players around him and build from there.
But like the other issue you run into is Wemby is very similar to Kristaps. Kristaps' rookie year he did exactly what Wemby's doing. And yes, he was regarded as a unicorn. He was this great, crazy,
the unicorn,
crazy good ball player, but the Knicks sucked. And I think the Spurs are going to be the same way. And if he were to not play with the Spurs, he would be forced into the role that he's more suited for. So I would like to see that.
No, I totally agree. I think stop bringing the ball up so much because you still had, almost 4 turnovers per game?
Yeah.
3.7. That's got to improve, which will improve if he handles the ball less, especially, crossing over half court. There's no need for that. Whether you're hitting pull-up threes or not, get a true point guard in there. Let him play more in the paint or high circle like Jokic does.
Yeah, don't play in the paint. He doesn't need to play in the paint, I don't think. I think you get a big, sturdy power forward. It doesn't have to be a dude that's 7'8". You just get a sturdy power forward. He can play in the paint. That's fine. No big deal. And you have basically your Jokic in San Antonio, where you're playing high post at best or mid-range to 3-point.
Yeah, it's your best setup, run, pick, and roll. Of course, no one's going to be able to pass like Jokic can. But Wemby has plenty of sight lines where he can be even 5-6 assists a game in offense like that. Future's bright. He proved me wrong.
But like I said, I don't think he's going to be able to do that in San Antonio.
I will see come next year. I'm not going to doubt Pop.
I don't either, but I don't know how much longer Pop's going to stick around. Everybody thought Bill Belichick was going to die on the field too.
Yeah, but he lost Tom Brady and got Mac Jones.
Well,
I don't think Victor's Mac Jones.
Pop lost Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili.
But he did not get Mac Jones.
And just went on a 10-win season or something like that. Ridiculous, terrible 20 wins maybe, I don't know. But there's only so much Pop's going to let. Maybe he looks at it as tarnishing his legacy. I don't know.
I don't think Pop gives a shit about his legacy. I don't think he's that kind of guy.
People do more than you think.
And I don't think Pop can tarnish his legacy.
I agree. But Tony Romo is the perfect example. When you talk about Tony Romo, all you think is post-broken collarbones, where he was terrible. He was good before that. Cam Newton. Before he hurt his throwing shoulder, he was an MVP. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah, we talk about how fast he fell off.
Yeah. That's just how it works.
I don't know. I think the only way Pop leaves is if he decides I'm too old for this and I want to go smoke cigars on a boat.
I think it's whenever who was his assistant coach that coaches in the WNBA now?
Becky Hammond
Whenever her contract's up, I think that's when he leaves.
passes the torch on.
I think so.
And dude's what, pushing 80? If he's not 80 already.
I think he's 80.
I mean, clock's ticking here, man, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure he's very stressed upon losses. And they took 70 of them.
Even without having expectations, the man hates to lose.
Yeah.
But I still think the Spurs front office is good enough where Pop can hand the keys over to Becky or whoever, and they can hopefully build a team. They have so much cap space; they're not
Spurs
paying
have
anybody,
only ever drafted.
and they've been very good at
Could
that.
you imagine if they still had DeJounte Murray?
Rumor is Trae Young's gone, and it's a prime landing spot.
I don't think that helps.
I don't think it makes them a serious contender. I think it's a step in the right direction. I mean, all you have to do is upgrade over Jeremy Sochan.
But, like, you had DeJounte Murray. You had...
Before they had Wemby.
Again, yes, but why did you get rid of him? It wasn't for that draft pick.
Tank job? No.
No, that was years ago.
He's only been in Atlanta, what, 2 years?
3 or 4, I think.
Oh, it seems like a long, long time. I feel like last year was his first year in Atlanta.
I don't think so.
No? Shane, pull that up.
It was definitely at least the year before.
I could be wrong. I don't follow as closely as you do, but either way, that ideally, yeah, that would be a great fit together right now.
Yeah, but you got rid of him for no reason.
And could happen again if Atlanta decides to dump DeJounte instead of Trae Young.
I don't think they will.
Rumor is
But-
they're sick of Trae Young. Cannot win with Trae Young.
Sure.
But who knows? You know what? There's more important things than
Maybe it's trading every other piece on your team besides Trae Young and DeJounte Murray this offseason. Who knows?
We'll just pull a thunder and trade everybody for 37 first-round draft picks.
And it pan out very
And yet
quickly.
hit all of them.
Yeah.
I just don't think you need to rush it. You know, same we talk about drafting quarterbacks number one. Let Wemby be on a below-average team for
Sure.
2-3 years
That's fine.
and build a team up.
The problem is the way Wemby stays healthy is him putting on weight and muscle.
Hopefully, yeah, we saw it with Chet after getting
So
hurt
if
last year.
that doesn't happen, you've wasted potentially 2 or 3 of his best years when he maybe only has 7 just to get in the playoffs.
We don't know.
But I think don't expect anything out of San Antonio over the next 5.
I think 5 is pushing it, but I think the main thing is the West is so tough.
It is.
Look at the remaining
It's not going to get easier.
9 teams now.
The teams that are in where they're at are just going to get better besides Minnesota. And that's just because they don't have any draft picks.
Yeah. And probably the Lakers. I think their time's ticking.
Yeah, but Lakers is a...
They'll rebuild eventually. People want to go play for the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. It's a staple. Nobody's like, oh, man, I really hope I go to the Spurs.
I don't know about that. Spurs is, one, the incentive of playing in Texas with no income tax, and also a winning history, winning franchise.
Sure. 20 years ago.
Come on now.
15 years ago.
Last year was like their first losing season in like 30 years.
No, yeah, that's fine, but you still have to look at the Lakers won a championship 4 years ago.
Some say it was an asterisk next to that.
But it's like, and you're in L.A. The outside of basketball businesses opportunities is what draws people to L.A.
Huge, of course, yeah.
So it's not that there's not a competitive market there.
So you're saying Victor to Spurs, or Victor to the Lakers in T-minus
No.
3 years.
No. I do think he will not be a Spur his entire career.
Most players don't
And
spend
I
a
think
full
he
career
won't be
anymore.
a Spur after his rookie deal.
Ooh, that's spicy. Put that on the wall of hot takes.
But it's just like Chicago. Why do people not want to go play in Chicago? Sure, they're a winning franchise. They have a history of winning.
Yeah, a long time ago.
But it's like, why do you not want to go play there? I don't know, because they've missed the playoffs for the last 12 years.
And there's no,
There's no bright side.
what's the future in Chicago right now?
Yeah,
Been hearing about trading all their players for the past 4 years.
exactly. And it's like that's why you see players wanting to go to Cleveland. They won a championship in 2016. That was almost 10 years ago, but it's still drawing because it was almost 10 years ago.
God, don't say that. It sounds so weird.
It was almost 10 years ago.
It's
dude.
insane.
But it's all about the draw. It's all about that part of winning. Having a winning season doesn't matter. There's a reason why nobody's itching to go to Philly.
Because you're gonna, a guy's gonna blame you for everything there.
Nobody's itching to going to Brooklyn.
Well, 3 years ago they were. That fell apart pretty quick.
I mean, people are probably itching to go to Golden State.
Even that, I don't know.
But it's like outside of Curry, Clay, and Draymond, they got nothing.
Outside of Curry, they have nothing. Draymond and Clay have, 2 years left?
Not been great, but dynasty-wise, that was it. And it's like nobody's going to Phoenix. They've got all the star power.
Everybody just went to Phoenix this year.
Not everybody.
They brought in KD and Beal and 9 role players.
Well, yeah, but nobody's in the draft. They're like, oh man, I really hope I go to Phoenix.
You don't think anybody in the draft
Nobody
wants to go
in
to
free
Phoenix?
agency is like, oh dude, I'm going to call Phoenix right now.
We'll disagree on that one.
Why aren't they being signed?
Because it's the playoffs. Who's going to go?
I'm just saying
who's
in
moving
general.
right now.
The reason why they filled all their role players is because they had to. You have to have a roster.
Because they brought in Bradley Beal.
They
and brought in
overpaid
players.
for Bradley Beal.
Of course.
And it didn't work out.
But they did bring in the new, percentage-wise, best shooter of all time in Grayson Allen.
True.
Who would have thought?
Who would
have thought that deal would have paid off better than Bradley Beal?
But, people want to go to Milwaukee. People want to go to Boston.
Because Giannis is staying there. You have Tatum and Brown, hopefully, for the long haul.
And they're championship competitors every year.
You just want stability.
You want to... No. They don't care about... They want to win championships.
Which, it goes hand in hand with stability.
Sort of. But then there's players like Kyle Kuzma who just want to make money.
Okay, nobody's talking about Kyle Kuzma seriously.
Or Jordan Poole who just want to make money.
Jordan Poole, again, the least efficient player now that the regular season is done of the entire year.
Yes, Shane, way off.
Worst take of the year by far.
That was a bad one.
And he wasn't scoring 30 on no efficiency. He was scoring 16.
Correct. He wasn't scoring, 35? What was
I
James
forget
Harden?
what he said. Who knows?
He said
did
James
say,
Harden-esque.
Oh, my God.
Rockets James Harden specifically.
There's a reason his chair's empty now.
Don't get me wrong. Jordan Poole had a James Harden-esque year if you compare side by side.
Maybe in shots taken.
No. This year's James Harden.
2024 James Harden. I don't think Shane mentioned that caveat.
He didn't. He did say Houston Rockets James
He's a
Harden.
prime 35 points per game for 3 straight years.
Maybe even Nets James Harden.
Would be better. I mean, who wouldn't be
Closer
better than 2024 Jordan Poole?
I would probably be better than 2024 Jordan Poole.
More efficient for sure. We got to go into the MVP debate, right?
It's Shea, whatever it is.
Clearly a 3-dog race, though. And I'm cool with any of those 3
Should
guys
be unanimous.
winning it.
In my opinion. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the unanimous MVP.
If Jokic won, I wouldn't complain.
I wouldn't complain either,
I would
but
vote
it
Luka.
should be Shai.
And it's tough because as much as we talk about voter fatigue, I feel like I'm succumbing to voter fatigue because I would go Luka, Shai, and then Jokic, even though Jokic probably should win. But
it's Shai, dude. Shea.
And I have no problem with that.
It should be unanimous.
He's definitely the better two-way player to take a team that was, a play-in team last year?
I believe so.
To a 1 seed when they only pretty much got Chet Holmgren back. By far the youngest team in the league still. Scoring, 31 a game?
Something like that.
Their closer.
Crazy efficiency. They were a 50, 40, 90 team for most of the year.
Unheard of.
I mean, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
But I'm such a Luka fan. I got some numbers here that I can't help. If they would have finished higher than 4, or they're the 5.
I think they're the 5.
Either way, then maybe that would have helped. But he closed the year averaging 33.9, 9.2, 9.9, which is a line that only He and MJ are the only guys to average 32, 8, and 8. So he eclipsed that before.
Russell
48%.
Westbrook never got to 30?
Not 33.
Not even 32?
Apparently not even 32.
Huh.
Probably 31, 12, and 11.
Probably like 29, 28, honestly.
48% from the field, 38% from 3, which is up like 4% from last year. Played 70 games. Set records for the most consecutive 35-point and 30-point triple-doubles. Put up 73 in a game. Had 13 40-point games. And 21 39-point games, which just really annoys me. Like if you're playing
21 more 40-point
if you're playing 2K, you're pushing for 40.
You're getting 40.
You're putting him back in, even though you're up 30 with a minute to go.
And he's Gatorade.
Led the league in scoring. Across December and January, he averaged 37, 9, and 11. Again, up 4% from 3, even though he was the second highest volume shooter behind just Steph.
I will say, if there's a year for him to win, it's this one.
And it's so crazy because, again, like,
but in my opinion,
looking at these numbers, you think clearly MVP.
Yeah, but in my opinion, Shea should be unanimous.
And again, I have no problem with that. And went 46 and 24 in games without Kyrie, Lively, and or Exum. Which I don't think you factor in Lively and Exum as much, but even without Kyrie, the Mavs would not be where they are, even as a 5 seed in a brutal West without Luka.
Correct.
It's just tough. I mean, what else do you have to do? Be a 1 seed? That's
be the leader of the 1 seed.
Yeah, wins are at the end of the day the most important stat. And again, you got to factor in defense too. Shea's clearly the best defender of the 3.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Even though he's the 4th best defender on his own team, that's all he needs to be.
That's so crazy to say.
Isn't that what?
That's crazy to say out loud because he's such a good defender.
Do we predict anything besides just the 1 seeds? Because I know we both like the Thunder to be very good this year, but nobody thought 1 seed.
No, we did the conference finals matchup.
Which we'll go over predictions next week because we got quite a long show here this week. But playoff prediction-wise, again, with the Lakers winning tonight and facing the Nuggets first round, what are your thoughts on that series to start off with? Lakers compete?
Nuggets in 4.
I think Lakers steal a game. I'll go Nuggets in 5. Really shouldn't be all that close. I'm going Nuggets all the way, like we predicted before the season started. Until someone upsets them and proves me wrong, it's Denver all the way.
Minnesota and Phoenix. I'm going Suns in 7.
I like Suns as well. Of course, losing Towns hurts, but I think Minnesota's defensive identity is forcing teams to take tough mid-range shots.
There's nobody better at those than Phoenix.
They're bread and butter. I do think it'll be a tough series. I like 7. I'm with you there. I think Suns in 7, but I don't think they get past that. Mavs, Clippers, again, always fun as can be.
Not having Kawhi, though, potentially.
For at least the first game or 2, Ty Lue kind of playing that close at the vest, but he'll definitely miss some time. He at least won't be 100%.
I think the Mavs will get enough of a lead to take the series.
I like Mavs in 6. Luka notorious, Clippers killer. Mavs are so hot right now at full strength with Kyrie. They're the most clutch team in the league. Kyrie and Luka, 2 of the most clutch players. Yeah. Daniel Gafford literally cannot miss.
When the ball is directed in his direction from Luka Doncic.
That's all he has to do.
Yeah.
Luka, 40, 12, and 11 for the series.
Okay.
Look at Clippers history, dude. Kills them.
The 1 seed, Oklahoma versus the Kings or Pelicans.
Pick the play-in winner there. I'm going to go Kings, I think.
I think the Kings win too, but I think the Pelicans match up against the Thunder better. I think the Kings get swept.
It wouldn't shock me. Could steal a game. I'm just going to go 4-1 just to be a little bit different, but Thunder have no trouble. And that's what I want to see the most. After a great year, such a young team, let's see them win a series and prove they can go over to the playoff hump here.
Now we'll dip into the East, even though the play-in games are not set yet. I think the Heat take the Sixers, and then I think the Sixers take the Hawks or the Bulls, whichever one wins. So I think the Sixers will be playing Boston, and Miami will be playing New York. I think the Heat take down New York. I think the Celtics sweep the Sixers. Cavs versus Magic. I think it goes to 7, unfortunately.
Really?
But I think the Cavs take it in 7. And I think the Pacers dethrone Milwaukee.
God, steal my thunder there. I like that a lot. I pretty much agree across the board. I like the Heat over Philly. I hate both the Hawks and Bulls, period. Can we just not play that game at all? Can we just make Miami and Philly not have to play the play-in?
It'll be like 150 to 152 with 300 shots taken by each team.
Yeah, Celtics should sweep. Knicks, not mentioned, sneaky 2-seed after the last game of the year.
Oh, for sure.
He's not going to get it because of the season, but you can make a case in terms of actual value. Jalen Brunson's an MVP. Even with no Randall. Dude's an absolute dog. And they have, who would it be? The Heat, probably?
Yeah.
I hate betting against Spoelstra in the playoffs.
I think the Heat at least get out of the first round. They lose the second round.
It's going to go 7, and I'll take the Knicks. Again, I love Pacers over the Bucks with Giannis banged up, at least for game 1 and 2, maybe longer. Even with Giannis, I love the Pacers' pace, no pun intended, and I'm not going to bet on a Doc Rivers coach team in the playoffs.
And you're also not going to bet against the assistronaut, Tyrese Halliburton.
If there's ever a time for it to finally catch on, it's now.
Evan Keaton said it was good.
You know what? And who else do we trust more than the ACE-certified personal trainer?
Exactly. I think the Pacers take it in 5.
In 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 6. But I think Pacers definitely take that series regardless.
I think,
you want to go?
I think the Bucks will take the first game. The Pacers will take the second one and just have the momentum to just finish it out.
Do you want to go full bracket or as they come? We've got, 2 weeks until these series actually start?
Yeah, first round's fine. We'll talk more about the play-in, obviously, when that happens on the East, and the finish up of the play-in in the West.
I was going to do a fan queue earlier. I don't want to go with Greg here. Now that we're done with the regular season, most over- and underachieving teams in retrospect?
Overachieving is New York, for sure.
I was going to go
2 seed.
Knicks and Bucks.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the Bucks are underachieving.
Because I guess we couldn't predict, firing Griffin and hiring Doc freaking Rivers of all people.
Who probably still doesn't know why he got hired.
I don't know if he always into the playoffs. But based on our picks, I think you got to go almost Suns as underachieving, right?
Suns underachieving as well. I didn't expect them to be a high seed. I kind of expected them to light a fire in the playoffs and go all the way to the finals, which is still my expectation. But I think it's going to be hard-fought series. As far as them winning the finals, I don't think there's a chance if they make it because I think they're going to have at least 2 7-game series.
And you're looking at, God, dude, anything past even the first round itself is so hard. Anything past the first round. But I still think
it's Celtics versus Suns with the Celtics taking it.
Locking that in?
Or maybe I did say Phoenix taking it. No, because I think Jason Tatum won Finals MVP in my.
Oh, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, obvious to go Thunder overachieving just because nobody saw that coming this quickly.
I think it'll be Thunder versus. This wasn't how I had it drawn up. I had it Nuggets versus Suns, but I don't think that's going to be possible based on the seeding and the bracket. But I think it'll be Thunder versus Suns, and I think the Thunder will get outclassed in the conference finals.
Yeah, I want to say Thunder's still just a little bit too young, needs some more experience. I would love to see him go all the way, at least to the finals, but I still think for me it's Denver or anybody else. The East, it can't not be Boston. If it's not, it's a historical choke job. After I think now the second highest net rating of all time, behind the 96 Bulls. Had the 1 seed locked up before any other team had a playoff spot locked up. It's, if not championship or bust, it's at least finals or bust. Let's see. Let's go on to UFC here, huh?
Absolutely.
300 not only matched the hype, but for me exceeded it in pretty much every aspect.
I will say a lot of people were saying it was a mid-card, and I'm like, top to bottom, it was a beautifully...
Maybe if you only watched the main card, which was still excellent, but there were 13 fights, and outside of maybe 2 of them, they were all excellent. Again, to open up with that we watched 8 hours of UFC. Here's how lucky you are to watch 8 quality hours of UFC. Figueiredo goes to 2-0 at the new weight class, choking out Cody Garbrandt. Oh, Cody looked great. Looked like old Cody. But I think Figgy at 130 or 135 is a significant problem. Probably one more fight and then a title shot, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
Jim Miller fighting at not 100, not just 200, but now at UFC 300 in his 49th career UFC fight against
300 years of UFC for that guy.
Record never to be broken, I'm sure. But he got a little bit broken.
That's putting it lightly.
Was never really close. Bobby Green with that weird hands down, unorthodox style, just pieced him up.
Yeah.
I guess Jim broke his hand in the first round, broke a toe, and of course, a brutal cut under his right eye, I think. Needed 22 stitches. But did survive till the end, barely.
Warrior.
But what a great Jim Miller way to go out, you know?
Yeah. Assuming he's not going to be fighting at 400.
I'm not going to bet against Jim Miller at 58 years old by that time. Who knows? I think it should be, 2032 by the time.
Who knows, dude? They might be.
Comes
they
around.
might be pushing 2 events a month from now on.
2 pay-per-views a month.
Yeah.
Again, for me, it wasn't even a bad fight just compared to everything else. Jessica Andrade, complete domination against Marina Rodriguez. Either way, it was never really close. Unanimous decision. One of the few decisions on that card. And then came the first shocking moment, bewildering moment. Jalen Turner thought he had a knockout against Money Moicano. Knocked him down and then turned and walked away like he had it. And Moicano got right up immediately. Survived the first, and then for 3.5 minutes in round 2, just laid on top of Turner and threw elbows. And Turner didn't do anything to even try to get out of it. And got TKO'd.
Yep.
As he should have.
Exactly.
He is the best, worst fighter, or the worst, best, however you want to put it, in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's like Johnny Walker. Like, he should be so good, but he's
you're just
so
not.
dumb.
Yeah.
And his fight IQ is so terrible. And I get, look, Dana puts up a $300K bonus. You want that nice, fight of the night, knockout of the night.
Yeah, so you follow up.
Yeah. You still could have got that.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm against egregious follow-ups.
Like, Moicano got up immediately.
Yeah.
Like, hit the ground and then was like, I'm good, dude.
Like, it was a knockdown.
Yeah. Not a knockout. You got to know your power a little bit better than that. One guy that did not walk away too early, Diego Lopez. Another quick KO.
What a beast.
Momentum keeps going. With the emo boy haircut circa 2009. Doesn't matter. He's knocking dudes out left and right. Again, I think probably 2 fights away from a title shot at his pace. Skyrocketing.
He's got to get in the ranks first. Like, at least top 5.
He's 23 years old?
Yeah.
Future's very bright. Speaking of bright future, maybe the brightest of everybody here,
Bo Nickel?
the female version, Kayla Harrison.
Oh, beast.
Good Lord Almighty. Delivered everything we thought she would and then some.
Yeah.
Also a dumb game plan from Holly Holm to try to wrestle with her. She did reverse one position unexpectedly, and then Kayla said, oh, okay, that's cute. You're not doing that anymore. How she made weight, first of all, shocks me to 135.
Yeah.
Dude, she was an Olympic judo gold medalist at 170.
Yeah.
Like 175. Like, she's jacked.
Crazy.
Striking looked decent enough for only striking for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Against a Hall of Fame boxer who, granted, is 41 years old.
But still a Hall of Fame boxer.
I'd give the title shot right now. Against apparently Raquel is hurt, doesn't want to fight. I wouldn't want to fight Kayla either. She's going to run through everybody in the division.
Especially if she continues to make weight.
Until she wants to retire.
Honestly, that's the only question mark is if she can keep making weight.
Yeah. There's even Prime. I wouldn't say Prime. Her only challenge would be Prime Amanda.
Yeah, probably.
Just because she is so much stronger, so much tougher than any other woman on the roster at that class. You got to bring in Chris Cyborg. Bring her back. Which now wouldn't be close. Bring in Prime Chris Cyborg.
Be close.
Even Prime Ronda. would be no
would
match.
get out wrestled.
Out judoed for sure.
Yeah.
She could put Kayla in an armbar, and Kayla would just curl her back up.
Yeah. She'd use that armbar and apply so much pressure that Ronda taps.
Yeah, absolute monster. Champion by end of the year. She said it. I agree. Then a kind of a boring fight overall, but I can't fault him. Aljo takes down Calvin Cater by decision.
As expected.
Yeah, Cater threw 4 strikes the entire fight because Aljo kept landing takedowns, and Cater was so afraid to throw strikes because he would get taken down. You want to see Aljo go for a finish, but Cater does have very good finish defense. Dana thankfully actually said, like, hey, you know what? Don't hate Aljo. That was a good fight at a new weight class.
Thank God.
Looked very well. Aljo's the most hated guy in the sport,
for
probably.
no reason.
Because
he's an excellent grappler.
Yeah.
Get over it. That's part of MMA.
Yeah, I'd love to see him hopefully continue this trajectory here at 145. With his resume, again, probably one fight away from a title shot.
Get a guy from the top 5.
Yeah, based on what happens.
Call it there, because I think Qatar was, 7-8?
Yeah, right around there. An excellent striker, but just totally neutralized. And just completely passive.
Yeah.
Just keep throwing. If you get taken down, you get taken down. At least throw something.
O'Malley's did it best.
Yeah.
If you're on the offensive, it's hard for a guy to shoot on you.
Yeah.
And when he does, that's when you take a step back and just lay him out.
Yeah, never close, 30-27 with tons of ground control. And then the Samurai, yet again. How does he keep doing it? Yuri Prohaska decides, you can hurt me as much as you want. I don't care. Unless your name's Alex Pereira, I'm still going to finish you.
Once again, proves that the Pereira was an early stoppage.
I watched that fight again, actually. At least that clip again last night.
I've
and I
watched
totally
it
agree.
a million times.
Even as soon as the fight happened, I thought early.
And the problem is, Pereira's never going to say that.
Nor should
Or not
he.
Pereira. Yuri is never going to say
no,
that.
he's ultimate samurai. He's not. He's modest as can be.
Pereira's just never going to speak.
I think he's mute.
So, although I will say, shout out to Alex because he did do a little cha-cha dance and smiled on national television.
Out of the blue. Very uncharacteristic. But
And
it's cool.
Show off after the knockout too?
Which I guess is like some kind of Fortnite dance or TikTok dance.
No, there's a dude that he will look at a life hack video and then just
Oh, that, yeah.
Then
yeah,
he'll
yeah,
just
yeah.
like plug in a toaster.
That guy.
And be like, no, this is how you toast bread.
That's right.
So it was like, see what happens when you keep throwing guys at me. Same thing.
Yeah, Yuri took like 8 or 9 hard leg kicks. The fourth one really got him bad, but he always switches stances. And again, just didn't care. Got rocked a few times, kept coming in, nasty uppercut.
Similar to like stoppages with the Diaz brothers. Like
they cannot be stopped unless the ref says we're stopping it.
For no reason.
Yeah.
And it's like he could still fight. He can't see, but he could still fight.
And he'll probably still win. I hope him and Alex is next.
And I hope it's a real fight and Herb Dean is not refereeing.
But also Yuri said, I guess, to check media afterwards, he wouldn't mind going to 185.
Down?
Yeah, going down.
Interesting.
I think he probably could make that weight. He's not a very big.
He does seem like a slender light heavyweight.
He is, yeah. I think he probably fights at 205.
Probably.
Maybe 210 tops. He could probably make that cut. But I want to see him fight Alex again first, hopefully.
I would love that.
Which we'll get there here at the main event. Going to the main card. Bo Nickel leading things off. Did what he should do.
Exactly what he should do.
But I like the game plan from Cody Brundage. He rushed him, threw some weird shit, tried to get him off his toes, but Bo handled it well. Took him down, and then was actually like upset with himself.
Yeah.
Like went to Dana, said thumbs down, which I thought was way too hard on himself. Like he didn't fight bad. He got a finish.
Yeah, well, he
And
wanted to finish earlier.
Didn't look bad doing it.
He was disappointed in himself. You're always your own worst critic.
So I think 3-0 now.
And maybe he was a little bit more disappointed because he knew he wasn't going to get the fight of the night bonus.
Well, with the killers on that roster, you probably wouldn't. And also, Bo's not knocking anybody out, so.
Never know.
Next card up, who knows? And the heavyweights coming in. I mean, the reason you're tuning in for these cards, Armand and Charles.
Amazing fight.
Top-notch BJJ.
Very technical fight.
Excellent striking. Switching positions, not just lay and pray, take a guy down. You're getting submission attempts left and right. How the hell Armand survived that choke from Charles, I have no idea.
It was like 20 seconds.
Tight. He even said post-fight, like, that was the hardest I've ever been choked. But these guys over there train for that.
It just makes me go back and watch Islam choke out Charles and how quick Charles tapped.
Immediately.
I could not imagine the squeeze that Islam has.
Like an anaconda. And now Armand is number one contender, but will not fight for the title next.
He should wait.
Do not
Unlike
fight.
Charles should have also waited.
Messed it up. Which I respect him for being a warrior, taking on a
I
young
do too,
challenger. But
I don't see Charles getting a title shot again.
now you got to put together 2 more wins
Yeah.
against top of the line guys. And I don't think, assuming Armand and Islam eventually go at it, maybe you beat the loser of that and get one. But you got to fight one more fight before that.
The problem is then you have to fight Armand or Islam
Yeah, which I think
again.
I don't see at his age now. I don't see anybody beating Islam. Period.
I'll be honest. Charles needs one win and then to hang him up.
I would. Yeah, don't go too
He's got
long,
nothing
man.
left to prove.
No, you already have the most submissions in UFC history. Like 3rd or 4th most wins.
And if you can go out on a submission, that'd be super characteristic. Take the gloves off right after.
You know, he's not going to be a guy that's going to fight for like the BMF or some kind of thing like that. If you want to go money fights, sure, but there's not many of those at 155 right now because these guys are all fighting for a title.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to go fight Connor or Chandler after their little thing coming up, apparently.
Maybe.
But yeah, for now, great fight. He looked great also, but Armand is just that good. And got a close decision, but I think was scored correctly. And then the highlight of the night. In a night that had 2 top 10 highlights of all
Are you
time.
skipping over Zhang Wei Li's fight, dude?
No, Max, BMF was first.
Oh, that's right.
The definition of bad motherfucker. Both these guys.
Yeah. Dude fought with a broken nose from round 1.
You had the toughness from Gaethje, which of course has always been there. But Max, boxing masterclass as expected. Somehow
Then
still
for
getting
the
better.
last 10 seconds for Max and Gaethje both to be like, let's do it.
Max up 3-1, and given the 5th, up 4-1.
Has everything to lose.
Risking it against the best power puncher, pound for pound, in the sport. Points to the middle of the octagon, goes in, they swing wildly, and with 2 seconds left.
1.
Was it 1?
It was a buzzer beater.
Either way, knocks out Gaethje stone cold.
Yeah.
I mean, ragdolled face
On the
first.
chair for the decision.
Yeah. One of the best moments I've seen in the UFC since
Definitely a fight that's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
without a doubt. And again, like, I'm sure it was talked about pre-fight, like, guys, this is the BMF title. I'm sure even Gaethje and Max talked about it. Like, let's put on a fucking show.
I don't think they had to.
It goes without saying.
That's just Max and Gaethje.
Yeah.
And again, that's why Gaethje didn't go for a title shot, is because he can't fight like that in a title.
Not against the champ like that.
No. So you do exactly what, honestly, give Gaethje the next BMF shot against Max.
Or whoever. Of course, Max can't vacate. He's apparently going to go fight Ilya next for 145 gold, which I think is the right path. But then you can't just vacate BMF. So
Double champ.
can't rematch it. I guess if you win 145, you go defend BMF next. And then Gaethje in the meantime, again, I don't want to see Gaethje and Charles again. But give Gaethje whoever loses against Connor and Chandler. Why not?
Yeah,
But Gaethje, take some time off, dude. That was
brutal.
one that takes some years off your life.
Yeah.
From a guy that's had those before. I was so scared for Max. I did pick him to win, but I was terrified because Gaethje ends careers. He knocked Max down. It was ruled afterwards not to be a knockdown, so Max still technically never knocked down, but it was a back of the head shot right behind the temple.
Yeah.
Knocked him down on his ass. First man ever to knock down Max Holloway. That's a feather in your cap.
Yeah. Cheeto Vera's still standing, though.
Somehow.
I don't think it's possible to knock that man down.
After that one, not a chance.
Yeah, after that connection of the knee,
Even you put him against Poatan. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so.
And at that point, you thought things could not get crazier tonight. After 10 great fights already.
Then Zhang Wei Li legitimately knocked a her opponent out,
Choked her out.
and
End of the first round.
the fight still continued on.
Clearly, with 2 seconds to go, she's choked out. Zhang held it for a second,
Unconscious.
as usual. But yeah, Zhang
And then
fell
Zhang
over,
pushed her off of her, and she was completely limp.
got up, fell back down. I guess the rule is if you can get to your feet by yourself, then you're good to go.
Do you have to stand, or can you just go back down?
Get to your feet, which she did do after falling back down. Then there was the weird thing where the cut man said, "Should I wake her up?" And then the commentary freaks out like, "Oh, he's giving her smelling salts. It's illegal." Which they backtracked in like the third round because, of course, they're not giving her smelling salts. But then in round 2, came back to life. Won the round.
Seems like smelling salts were applied.
I didn't see it, but maybe she has a twin that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because
But
she came back from being literally unconscious.
Zhang Weili won by decision, as expected.
After round 2, Zhang said, "Okay, don't forget, I'm the champ for a reason," and a 1-3-4-5 decisively.
Yeah.
Again, in the same vein as Kayla, I don't see anybody in that class beating Zhang. So until she wants to retire or a new competitor comes out of nowhere, she'll be champ for quite a while. In the main event, which again you thought things couldn't possibly get any crazier, right? Another top 10 highlight. The most stone cold thing I've ever seen in my life. Walkouts were great. I love Jamal Hill's character. He's standing outside the octagon watching Powhatan walk in. And then, 3 minutes in? I think it was a minute 45 to go in the first.
Yeah. I still don't like that Pereira was able to wave Herb Dean off.
Fighters have that ability. I didn't see Herb call time. He's like, "Are you okay?"
He went up and was getting ready. He put his hand out to separate.
I thought he was going to touch Pereira, "Yo, are you good?"
It looked like he was going between with his hand backwards.
Either way, I think refs are supposed to say "Yo, time, separate."
No, I agree.
And
But again,
anybody else probably would have looked at Herb and been like, "Nah, man, we're good," or "Hey, we'll go back to the middle, whatever." Powhatan didn't break eye contact with Jamal Hill. Kind of gave Herb a nudge, and then 3 seconds later,
and
mishit a hook, and still took him out.
but that's why he got hit though. His hands were down because he thought Herb Dean was stopping the fight.
What's the first?
He was looking at Herb Dean.
Not when he threw the punch.
Not when he threw the punch, but he was looking at Herb Dean, and then he had to backpedal. So he was on his back feet, and again, I'm not saying he would have won,
No, I get you.
but it's protect yourself at all times.
We
I
won in the
know.
octagon, yes.
But when the ref is appearing to stop the fight, you're not supposed to protect yourself
At all times.
because there's supposed to be no punches thrown.
Until Herb separates it, I'm keeping my hands up.
He had his
Especially
hand out.
for a half a second.
I'm telling you, dude, Jamal Hill was looking at Herb Dean.
That's his fault.
You got to respect the ref. Isn't that what they say too?
If Herb says stop, sure.
I don't know. And I don't know if he said anything.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see him say anything. But I didn't hear.
It's weird that even worse reffing that he didn't say anything.
That's why
You just walk with your hand out.
that's why I wish it was Herzog or Goddard reffing the main event instead.
I don't know. That was a weird, great knockout. Nothing against Alex. Trust
And
me.
again, not even landing it flush.
Yes.
How much power does this man
Agreed.
have?
But just a weird way to get knocked out on Jamal Hill's part.
And then post-fight, Jamal Hill was actually very gracious. Was like, "Yo, dude, you think based on his personality beforehand, he'd go talk trash, make excuses. No, he owned it up. Hey, I'm going to get better. I'm going to come back and get my gold eventually." Again, if that hadn't happened, I still think Pereira knocks him out.
And
maybe in
him
the
and
second.
Glover embraced
Oh, of course.
after the fight.
Yeah, but it's cool to see.
Glover looks like he aged 60 years since he retired.
Yeah, I think fighting keeps a man's blood young, apparently.
So that was interesting to see. I didn't even recognize him at first. I'm like, wow,
Who's that 70-year-old dude?
is that Glover? No way.
Was it Glover's dad? And then Alex said after that, maybe he wants to go fight a
Cha-cha
heavyweight.
slide.
Well, after the cha-cha slide. Maybe heavyweight.
Tom Aspinall would obliterate that man.
The problem is, I think any talented heavyweight would just wrestle him. Because Alex, Izzy took him down. Izzy controlled him on the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah, all you have to do is take him down.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
even then, dude.
Even on the feet, I think Aspinall especially, who I think is still the best heavyweight.
Let's be honest. the guys in heavyweight probably punch as hard as Pereira
Oh, I totally agree.
on average.
Yeah. If you went to heavyweight, I want him to see at least fight like Gone first.
I mean, why?
Stylistically, best matchup.
An easy knockout for him.
I don't want to see him fight Aspinall off the bat. I don't think he's earned that quite yet. Fight a heavyweight
Champ
first.
fight champ. That's how it's
I'm kinda
been.
getting tired of that shit, though.
So am I.
Plus,
but that's just how it's been.
Aspinall's really not even champ right now.
Champ.
But I would say fight Yuri one more time, rightfully.
Please.
And then after that, if you want to get heavyweight, so be it. I think he gets just. I don't want to say destroyed, but I think
By Aspinall, he destroys him.
Aspinall is the best heavyweight in the sport.
And he will probably go down as the best heavyweight of all time.
Well, very early still, but I think he potentially very well could be.
I think talent-wise, based on his skill set and his speed and his movement and everything, fight IQ, best of all time.
Projecting for sure, but let's see it happen first. I think it'd be quick because he's so fast, clearly bigger, better reach, just as much power, if not more, because he is.
And the one thing that I didn't like was Glover giving Pereira his black belt.
Yeah, they've even mentioned it on the broadcast like that. He didn't do any jiu-jitsu in the fight.
I get it if
like
maybe he got one takedown.
Yeah.
Or if he's ever gotten one takedown.
And maybe he earned it in training and it decided to be a cool moment to pull it out.
No, he didn't.
I can't imagine Pereira's working on jiu-jitsu.
It's left hooks
prior
and leg
to
kicks.
Jamal Hill.
It's left hooks and sneaking leg kicks is what Pereira's.
Which clearly works.
Yeah. I will say, Jamal Hill took those leg kicks like a man.
Oh, for sure. And again, like nothing against Jamal Hill. He's a top 3 light heavyweight.
Yeah, just got caught at a weird time. And honestly, probably got knocked out due to pure surprise.
Had to factor in. But you mentioned even then.
Because it wasn't a clean punch.
No.
It was like 2 knuckles.
But this goes to show how much power Alex does have. But even before that, you mentioned you didn't like Hill's game plan from the bell going to your back foot.
Yeah, no, he immediately was on the retreat.
Which is the one thing Pereira's going to press
And
you.
the only reason it worked for Izzy is because he had a really good weave.
And he's an elite kickboxer.
Yeah. And he can play off his back feet. Jamal Hill pressed. He has pressed his entire career.
That's Izzy's MO is I'm going to
counter-strike.
Back off.
Yeah, Jamal Hill's not a counter-striker.
Not at all.
So I don't know what they game planned. Maybe he gave Pereira's punches too much respect, and he was scared to take them.
Well, he took one.
So maybe that was the problem, and maybe that's why he fought off his back foot. But yeah, that was just a bad game plan overall.
Yeah, I think clear path going forward. Eventually, whenever John and Stipe do fight, John wins easily, retires. No way he fights Aspinall or Pereira if Pereira does go to heavyweight, which leaves, I assume you just give interim undisputed just like that if John retires. I don't think you refight for the undisputed, do you?
I don't know how that works.
If then, who would it be?
I think they do fight. I think they do. I think they take the interim away, right?
You Sergey again? I guess Pereira if he wants to go to heavyweight?
That's probably what they'll be banking on. If Pereira doesn't go to heavyweight, then they'll give Aspinall the title.
And then who's number 1 contender?
No, they'll just say Aspinall's the interim. We're going to upgrade it to undisputed.
Yeah, but then who fights Aspinall next?
No idea. That's irrelevant.
Trash.
However, if Pereira says, I'm going to heavyweight, then they'll be like, all right, we got to have the undisputed matchup, Aspinall versus Pereira.
Just for the chance of the first ever 3-belt champion, which, again, I don't think it would happen, but fight Erie again.
Because you got to think, man. Yeah, Pereira probably fights around 230. What did they give it was like 235? Or was it 227?
They
gave the hydration weight.
Yeah, he cut to 205 and then put on, like 30 pounds.
Yeah, okay. So you're talking, he's a natural 235. What's Aspinall, like 260?
Yeah, he's right there. Even let's say Pereira puts on 10 pounds. Aspinall's still bigger, longer, just as much power.
And faster.
Faster and the ground game. That has to factor in.
Yeah.
I think you fight Erie again, win, and just retire. Go back to Brazil.
Win's a strong statement.
I would bet on him. I would hope Erie would win.
I think if anyone else is reffing besides Herb Dean, we get an actual fight this time.
Herbie wasn't the first one.
He wasn't?
It was
I
Mark
thought
Goddard.
he was. Was it really?
For sure.
For some reason, I painted it in my head that it was
You
Herb Dean.
assume any bad riffing thing is Herb Dean. Yeah.
Which is so sad.
Look, you're
He
your prime for
used to
so
be
long.
so good. And then he kind of brought me back with the elbow drop.
That was dope.
He kind of brought me back, and then he lost me again.
Nah, give me Herzog for every main event.
Yeah. Who's the guy with the mustache?
Oh, Mike Beltran?
Give me that guy.
With the mustache?
the stash.
Yeah, he's tight.
Give me him, dude.
He's
I want
tight.
to see him break up a fight with his stash.
Probably could.
Just wraps it around a fighter's neck. He's like, get over here.
We also had, I think you almost took issue with, Chael Sonnen, overrated, not in the Hall of Fame.
I was playing video games at the same time as watching that, and I was like, why is this guy in the Hall of Fame? Why am I seeing this guy in Hall of Fame in the same sentence?
Yeah, just
But I also didn't know that they put fights in the Hall of
yeah,
Fame.
in the
So-
fight wing, the Chael v. Silva won.
But I also feel like that's included under Silva's Hall of Fame.
Again, they have a fight wing, so
Like I feel like
You're-
their fight wing should be for non-Hall of Famers.
there's no reason to exclude it like that.
But there is, though. Because when you're looking at Anderson Silva's record, you're like, oh, Anderson Silva's in the Hall of Fame. That's so cool. I'm going to look him up. You're not going to be like, okay, Chael Sonnen, that one doesn't count. That one's in the Hall of Fame over there. So we're going to skip that.
Well, it's still in his record. You're just going to see Chael Sonnen win.
I know. But it's like,
In the fight wing, you're going to see this fight.
we're
I'm
acknowledging
going to go watch that.
We're acknowledging that fight as part of his legacy. Especially because it's a title fight. You're going to watch his title fights.
Well, no, it's more so the legacy of the sport in the fight wing. There's only 9 fights in there, which I did go back and watch all of them again. I think the oldest one is from like UFC 17. Seeing young Bruce Buffer is so weird.
Yeah.
And I don't think he sounds as good.
No.
Maybe we're so used
A lot
to
more energy?
I wouldn't say a lot more, because
He
Bruce
was-
still brings it.
He does. But I think his blood pressure was getting way higher.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's pushing, he's got to be 70, right?
He's up there.
Great head of hair, though.
Great head of hair. I wish.
And then soon after, 2 hours after the fights ended, we got some big-time announcements for 302 and 303. 302 will be Dustin against Islam for the lightweight title. Co-main being Paulo Costa and Sean Strickland. And then 303, 5-rounder between Connor and Iron Michael Chandler. I'll believe it when I see them both get in the octagon.
I'll believe it when I see McGregor get in the octagon. Michael Chandler's fighting.
He's game for sure.
He called him out on a Monday Night Raw.
2 years ago, we'd be talking about this.
Yeah. And 2 months ago, he called him out at a Monday Night Raw. He's like, if I can't call him out at UFC events, they're still owned, WWE's owned by Endeavor too. I'll go here. They'll have me on.
And I think the co-main on that is Whitaker and Hamzat. But Connor Chandler at 170, no title things associated with it, of course. I think if Connor does fight, I think Mike starches him. Connor has 1 win in the past 7 years, and it was against Old Man Cowboy. But I don't think he's going to fight, period. I don't think he even wants to. I don't think he
He
needs
has
to.
no incentive to.
No, I don't think I don't think he would make 170.
I think he should go to the WWE.
Easiest move of all time.
The
right?
problem is there's no, he doesn't need to go for money or anything. He doesn't need to go for fame. He's just,
If he wants to
there's
go,
no reason for Conor McGregor to do anything.
besides he wants to do it.
Yeah. Maybe he wants to fight Chandler to shut him up.
He's still a fighter after all, right?
He is.
Now he's not
And Chandler's been running his mouth a lot.
on his way up Connor, which is an absolute dog. He's what do you always say? Silk sheets Connor now. But he's still a fighter, and you can't let a dude totally shit talk you for 2 years straight and not show up, right? I hope it happens. I want to see it. I want to see Connor lose again. Not that I'm a Chandler fan per se. Either way, it should at least be entertaining unless Connor breaks his ankle after getting rocked yet again. 301 is not worth mentioning. Will not be mentioned even the night before the event happens. But, after getting 300 and 302 and 303 being so good, you got to have one kind of drop down in there. Although Pereira did say, I'll fight heavyweight at 301. Which is not going to happen, but a fun idea, right?
Definitely a fun idea.
Closing up shop, did you watch any of the Masters over the weekend?
The bit I did see was Tiger's bad day.
Well, Tiger made the cut, which sets a new record, I think 26
And
straight
then he shot
cuts.
10 over.
And then Saturday came along, and that got a little bit rough.
But I believe, was it Scotty that won?
Scotty Scheffler.
On a tear.
Yes, very close, ending day 3, starting off day 4, but the back 9 on Sunday. I think he birdied 7 of the last 9, won by 3 strokes, with his wife ready to give birth at any moment with their first child.
Man knows his priorities.
And now I think the third youngest guy to win 2 Masters.
And he won the Players and the Masters
And I
this
think
year.
the only guy youngest dude besides Tiger to win Players and Masters same year.
Scotty Scheffler's on it there.
It was the favorite, number 1 in the world for a reason. And stone cold demeanor too. Like, didn't even look at the scoreboard till he was walking to 18. Let's see, stick pick after a month off. What are we at time-wise here? About 3?
Yeah.
I figured it'd be hopefully about that.
Go ahead and draw.
Let's see what we got here. The one and the only PDM Maduro by, of course, J.C. Newman Cigar Co., a quality budget, like $8 stick, which, of course, you can find at the aforementioned Tip Top Smoke Emporium and or tiptopsmoke.com and pretty much any place that sells cigars. Close but no cigar, I have the Iowa women's team for losing back-to-back national championships. Could also go Purdue men's and Zach Edey. 2-time player of the year, 0-time champion. Ran to the UConn.
It's kind of crazy.
Bums, I have 3.
That'd be fine. There was a lot of time off.
Yeah,
So.
one, of course, is, I'm sure you can guess, it's baseball related.
Chris Bassett,
No.
Angel Hernandez.
Of course, another rough week, rough season, as usual,
Rougher than normal.
which is a very, very high bar. But he somehow surpassed it. Jalen Turner, bum of the week for sure, for the fake walk-off that was not a KO. And then a fellow named Zach McKinstry, who was playing third base in a tie game, extra innings, made an error that let up 3 runs to score,
Oh, we putting bums of the weekend for errors? Bo Bichette?
then was brought in to pitch and gave up a 3-run bomb
Why was he brought in to pitch?
because the game was over at that point. For some reason.
So you bring in the guy who just made an error?
Yeah, that seems like a spite move.
Yeah. Just cost us the game a little bit more. How about that?
That's a rough day at the office.
Yeah. Back to the minors.
Maybe cut entirely.
Back to the minors.
Well, good to be back after legit a month off. Right?
Yeah.
Thanks again to Greg for coming on. Again, we'll be posting all of his information about the event on the 27th at Tip Top with the promo post for the episode.
And we do have a guest for next week's show, too.
Locked in. Do we want to spoil it or
No.
save the surprise?
Save the surprise. WWE aficionado, though. You're lucky we
Recapping,
didn't. You're
WrestleMania?
lucky. You're lucky that you were sick, dude. We had planned like a 3-hour show just about WrestleMania.
I was asked that today, actually, if there'd be WrestleMania talk.
There will be next week.
I saw some results. I'll follow along at least because I kind of want to know.
We have decided that we probably have the best fantasy booking of all time for this year,
I cannot wait
based
to hear
on
it.
WrestleMania.
Can't wait to hear it.
So, for all you WWE fans out there, be ready. Buckle up.
Hopefully it involves Rhea Ripley.
She's actually out for 6
I
months
did see that, which is very unfortunate.
and
Because
had to vacate.
can we ruin K-Fob here? K-Fob? How do you pronounce that?
K-Fob?
Is it
Kayfabe?
Kayfabe?
Yeah.
Can we ruin that here on show? She's
She'd
pregnant.
like-
She's pregnant, right?
I didn't hear that.
I read she's pregnant and getting married, so they're going to pull the whole injury card so she can get by
no,
with that.
PW Insider said she actually fucked up her shoulder.
That's even worse.
So,
My girl.
yeah.
Never seen a match.
Also, she got injured either at WrestleMania or the night after.
What terrible. My favorite thing of the whole thing, I did see Cody and his tag team partner.
Seth Rollins?
No, the other guy. Roman's brother, right? Didn't Cody and...
No, it was Cody and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns in the tag match.
It wasn't Seth then. It was Uzu? Is that a guy?
Jey Uso?
Yeah. I saw them drunk together at the press conference.
Oh, that was like SummerSlam in August last year.
What?
Yeah.
That just came up.
That was when they won the tag belts. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm just seeing that now. I take it back then. I guess.
But yes, no, that was an amazing press conference.
Hilarious. I thought it was
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Never
No.
mind. Either way, just go check it out.
No, Cody Rhodes fought Roman Reigns and ended his 1,316-day title run.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys all watched.
By the way, 1,316. Seth Rollins was 316.
Stone Cold, 316.
They had planned on Stone Cold being there, but some schedule issues came up and Undertaker had to take his place.
Did see that. Pretty dope.
So,
either way.
very cool. Yeah, regardless. But the glass shattering would have been an all-time pop.
Look forward for the full breakdown next week.
So be ready for the WrestleMania breakdown next week. I would imagine it would probably take around 45 minutes.
I'd take the over on that.
So, and an insight into my mind about what this year should look like as far as the PLEs go.
And most importantly, back to your regularly scheduled weekly programming.
Exactly. And you know what we always say?
That's an ad.
To the moon!